Okay. Audio should be great, I hope.
Can you hear me?
We should be on KryptonRadio.com. We should be on Twitch. It's been one of those days, I gotta tell you. So remember last week how we didn't have audio for Jeff, but we had video for Jeff? Now we have audio for Jeff and not video for Jeff.
Woo!
Yeah, I can't figure that one out. But whatever. That's how it's gonna go, I think. Hey, I am Sean Crosby.
This is Jeff Solidonaho.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby. Whoops. Sorry. We didn't do a mic check, so my mic is not.
Her mic is not in the right spot.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're very scattered. My half-eaten dinner is over here. It's just, it's honestly, we're like, do we call it off? It's been a day, but yep, no Jeff. Do we have? There's BB-8 lurking in the background.
We have Jeff audio.
Yeah, we have Jeff audio. We have no
some
Jeff video.
We have half Jeff.
Yeah.
Partial Jeff.
I'll try to make weird buzzing cat noises, and that'll fit in right.
Right. Some Jeff is better than no Jeff. Oh my gosh. So I said it was Krypton Radio. You were watching us on Twitch, if you want to, over at twitch.tv/docking_bay_94. You can go to Facebook and go to Docking Bay 94 radio show on Facebook and find us there. Kit Boba Kit Sovine posts links to the show on Facebook if you're listening on Krypton Radio, or they're in the chat over on Twitch.
Yep.
If you are doing that. So that is that, I suppose. And how's everybody's week been?
Ooh,
pretty good.
Boy. It's just been a week. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, exciting, staying at home and not going anywhere, and yeah.
VOD.
That's really funny.
I mean, by going somewhere, I went to the garden center to pick up some plants, and I went for a walk around the block. Yeah. And I went to. Let's see, Saturday, I did a sewing circle.
Oh.
And made masks. And then
Nice.
Sunday I did the CGW movie Ever After.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. Tuesday I did the South Bay Sewing Circle online sewing circle, and Wednesday I did Costumers Guild West online sewing circle, and today we're here. Colleen Crosby, all online all the time.
You've just been like your virtual self.
Yeah, it's like every time I'm not at work, I'm virtually somewhere, so it is crazy.
It's nuts.
Krypton radio feed is severely ahead of the Twitch stream.
Well, you're not supposed to do both of them at the same time. Who's doing that? There's always a lag.
Meanie Mimi?
Yeah, you have to watch one or listen to one. You cannot do both. It does not work. Because they're going through different things. So, but that's always the case. Is the Krypton is always, because it's just audio, it's always just kind of different. I tried to start Twitch. Did it start? It didn't start.
Twitch has started.
No. I tried to start it on my computer so I could see it.
Oh.
And it did not load. So.
Yeah, it's on mine, but I'm the only one in the chat room that I can see, but I'm sure there are others. I just can't see
Meanie
anymore.
Mimi is there, and Boba Kit is there, and TKDS66 is there.
Okay. Yeah, I need to refresh it. I don't know.
And there's me. Actually, usually the radio feed keeps pace better than the Twitch audio. Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's because there's more bandwidth issues.
Gotcha.
Let's see.
Are we on Facebook too?
There we go. Yeah, we should be on everything right now.
Oh my gosh.
Everything. All of it. It's all going
everywhere.
right now. Except, oh no. You know what? We aren't. Because I think I had to go set that up through the Restream.
Except it says, it says Disney Parks Sandcrawler toy.
Yeah. It's
It's DB94.
It is. I crashed so hard today. I took a nap. I'm really out of it. I've got a blistering, like, migraine level headache, and I can't go to Coffee Bean, which really sucks. I am screwed today, and I've been fighting for days. Yes.
Oh.
And it's done nothing. And I've been fighting for days with the Skype thing to try to get Jeff's audio and video on here, which we had problems with last time. And I haven't eaten my dinner, and I'm out of it. And so the show's not updated. The tags for the show are not updated, which I have to do through another.
All right. Well, I'm sure everybody will be fine with that.
It's just just been one of those.
And I kind of feel like you should go take 5 minutes and eat something.
I don't know, maybe just because
I think you should.
Okay.
I'm going to note here that this is DB94's regular Thursday.
Right, and I don't know.
Not
I think I can do this. What's
toy.
What's the date?
Today?
Yeah.
It's the 16th.
2020. And
Yes.
I think this is show 40, season. I think it's season 7, episode 40.
Okay, and everybody is telling you to go eat something.
I will go eat something. I will go in just a minute. I will take more aspirin. But here's.
I think we're gonna have to order some sort of coffee substitute to bring on board here.
Maybe.
I'll figure something out this week, so we'll get Sean caffeinated next week.
Okay. Now the title, at least on Twitch, is correct. I'll go fix it on the other one, and then I'll go eat something, and it'll be great.
All right. So in the meantime, Jeff, did you do anything this week other than work and sit at home?
No.
He's like,
what could I have done?
did.
No, that's really about it. You know?
Oh, I remember another thing I did. I went to the office to pick something up and forgot one of the items I was supposed to pick up. So I kind of need to go back and do that. But I also delivered a mask to somebody that I had made.
Oh, cool.
For them, because I made a couple of masks for my coworkers, and I gave one to a neighbor and a couple for Sean and I. Yeah. And that was it. I didn't make that many. I made like 9, I think. Not like these people who are making hundreds and supplying the world.
Yes, some people have made it a sort of a cottage industry for which they are not charging.
No. Well, and some people are charging too, and it's
right.
It just all depends.
I'm going to flip screens here for a minute to check the number of the show and make sure I got that right, because I didn't set it up. Okay, episode 40 was last week, so we're episode 41. But that's okay. It's an easy fix.
So if anybody has any suggestions for drinks for Sean that we can get at home, it has to have I'm going to give you the requirements. It has to have caffeine. He wants it to be very, very sweet. So basically he wants coffee ice cream.
Well, you know, I like
ice cream shake.
I like a good frappuccino or something. You know,
ice cream.
You could probably mix like a Starbucks frappuccino that comes in the bottles with some ice cream.
Well, the ones that come in the bottles are just fine. They're fine. We just don't have any.
Maybe I should get some of those. But Lord Silverhand says that he's almost gone to the store several times this week, and I could totally relate to that. Eric, we do not have a coffee maker. We have some instant coffee and a tea kettle. But I suppose one of those, you know, I could order a coffee maker. So these are all things. And Sean doesn't like tea, and he doesn't like straight coffee. I mean, like, he has had it before, unlike me, who I detest it. So he will drink coffee if he's desperate, but he really wants something much sweeter.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I will try to get him fixed up for next time. Jeff, do you want to talk about Star Wars history?
Sure. Hopefully they can hear me. They're saying on Twitch on Twitch I'm a little low somehow, but on Krypton I'm fine. So whatever. Yeah. Well, let's start with the startup here. So I'll try to speak louder if that'll help.
Definitely.
April 12th, 1980. The novelization the novelization of The Empire Strikes Back by Donald F. Gillett was released.
Wow.
So that's our first bit. So
Okay.
yeah.
Did you read it?
Nifty. I have not read that one. No, I mean I am not as book alerted with Star Wars books as I should be.
Oh.
I've got a glut of them. Like, ironically, the name.
I have one. I have the Handmaidens book sitting by my bed that's been sitting there for a couple months that I need to read.
I have a bunch of them that would probably be called legends now that I inherited, so to speak. So I have plenty to read. I just haven't read them.
I really loved the Tales from the Cantina, that whole series. So I should probably go back and read that again because that was really good.
I liked the Brian Daley Han Solo books. Those were really good, but I've only read like 2.
The Brian Daley ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were excellent, but
people are having a hard time hearing Jeff on Twitch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jeff is quiet. Let me see what I can do about.
I didn't lower myself.
No. So it's Jeff's whole audio is coming through what do you call it? Coming through mix. That's all the audio's kind of coming through mix. So yeah, and I have your volume sort of like pegged over on the other thing. I might be able to do something. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I mean, I can probably get you louder, but then we have this weird sound in the background.
I wonder if that's I have the fan going. I don't know if that's picking up or not.
No, it's not. It's sound that's native out of my computer.
Sort of a buzz or something?
Yeah. It's sort of a hum.
I have to say that on the Facebook feed, there's a big green message that says, "These people are watching you," and it's kind of creepy.
Oh, on Facebook? That's really funny. So we used to start the show with a thing that was a piece of music and a little like 5-minute intro and that kind of thing. And I had to stop doing that because Facebook or YouTube or somebody was taking the videos down. Even though we have permission to use the piece of music, I can't convince them of that, and so it would just delete the whole video. It's like, you can't see this, which is like really rude, I thought. But yeah, one never knows.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully Jeff is a little louder now.
Okay, can y'all hear me this time?
So.
Bueller.
Yeah, you sound better, I think. Except now that you have a in the background. So.
It's because I'm a droid. That's
right.
why. So.
Oh, right.
Well, and there are 3 different Skype volume levels, and I don't know that any of them have any bearing on you.
Wow.
In the thing, because they're all kind of maxed out.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a volume adjustment on my end that I can do through Skype. I think it's just standard.
Well, if you go into settings for Skype,
yeah,
and honestly, we should just turn this show into like a
Tech Talk.
Like Tech Talk, yeah, exactly. So if you go to the settings there, the little 3 lines, and then you hit the 3 dots and go to settings. Audio and video does have a like microphone and speaker gain on it. And so like I just boosted your speakers something fierce. And then microphone has a level, and it shows you how the level is going. And I don't know how good that is or not. But yeah, you can play with those. I think I got you though. I think you're pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's, trial
Right.
and error.
So let's go back to Star Wars history and talk about 1981.
1981.
Okay. Yes, April 10th, 1981, 1 year after the other book. Star Wars was re-released, but this time it had a new title. Episode 4, A New Hope.
Yeah, what was up with that?
I mean, when Empire came out and it said Episode 5 and all that, didn't it?
It did. It said episode
Yeah.
5, The Empire Strikes Back, right off the bat. They added
Yeah.
A New Hope because episode 5 was coming out, and they didn't want there to be confusion.
Of course.
So, it got a chapter title, which it didn't have when it
Yeah.
first came out because George didn't
Yeah.
know if he was going to get a sequel.
Yeah, just Star Wars.
Right. Yeah, hey, whatever works.
Yeah, totally. And we're gonna jump much more into the future compared to the last two entries here. April 13th, 2017. We were there.
Were we?
Yes, Uncle George, Harrison, and John Williams made an unannounced appearance at Celebration 8 in Orlando. So we were at the con.
We were there.
But
We did not see this. Yeah.
yeah, I think we were babysitting cars or something. But anyway,
Always.
Yeah, perpetually. It's like, on one hand, the Road Squadron guys get to go out and do, lots of cool stuff. On the other hand, we are usually the responsible adults in the group. And that's, although to be fair, who is it? Sadie took us into the store. He had an advance skip the line pass, and he did take
Yes.
us into the store, which was nice. Although everything was pretty much sold out. I don't
Yeah,
think
it was- yeah, it was
I don't think we
completely
actually
gone.
bought anything because nothing was left. But
Yeah.
but he did do that. That was kind of nice. And I think that was the one where we got to induct Dennis Lawson into the Rebel Legion. So at least I got to do that, and that was pretty
Yeah.
cool. And people did come by our table a lot. I gotta tell you, Chicago, so many people came by the table, but it was not like Florida where people came by the table to talk.
Yeah.
In the case, we were at one of the entrances in Chicago, and they might as well have paid me to work there because I was giving out maps, I was giving out books. Everybody wanted, where's the bathroom? There was
Yeah.
just a lot of stuff like that was just awful. So, it was kind of a drag, but and I still have yet to be reimbursed from Reed for going out. I don't know if you guys remember.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was like an emergency last-minute trip, and they're like, well, if Road Squadron's going to be there, you have to be there. And I said, if I'm going to be there, you have to fly me. And they did,
Yeah.
ostensibly, but I have yet to be reimbursed for that. So, if
Yeah,
they
that's-
cancel Celebration, the way I feel Celebration is going to be canceled or postponed, they'll have enough money to reimburse my plane ticket.
Yeah, we think.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Well, except that they're going to lose money.
Yeah, I know, which is, a drag. And that's
Oh, no.
that's the thing everybody's waiting for. Are we done with Star Wars history?
Yes, that was the last of it. Yeah.
Okay, so the thing everybody's waiting for right now with bated breath is for San Diego Comic-Con to, fish or cut bait. They're like, are we gonna do it or are we not gonna do it? And honestly, responsibly, I think they should not do it. I think that
Yeah.
it should not happen.
Because July, I mean, it's months away, but still, that's, that's really taking a risk.
There are 100 to 150,000 people that go to the convention, and then there's all of the stuff that happens in the city in the Gaslight District, and their biggest hall seats 6,500 to 7,000 people.
Yeah.
There's no way that let's say the convention is cut to 25,000 people because a bunch of
Yeah.
people went, oh, I'm not going to go. That's still too many. That's you can't maintain distance, and no mask is going to save you. And everybody clusters together to take
I know.
cosplay pictures and stuff. Yeah, no. I feel really bad about it. So
It's
responsibly,
yeah,
I think like they should just call it off this year.
yeah. It's like walking through a sardine can full of people. That's
Yeah.
tough.
Well, I honestly they can't have it because didn't the governor say that there won't be any gatherings
It
until
was
Through August.
suggested.
But
So,
it was
yeah,
vague. Yeah, it was vague enough
mm,
that you could kind of do it, but it's like, yeah, you should not have any large gatherings through summer is I think how they put it.
I thought he
yeah.
said there will not be
No,
any.
I think
So
the real hard out is like January or sorry, July 15th. I think that's the real hard out, the date that we've been given so far.
Yeah.
And
which is like what 2 days before it starts.
pretty much, yeah. So, they're like, "Oh, well, we're going to make the cutoff." So, I don't know. I have my doubts. And the people I'm talking to who I know who are artists, who are
Yeah.
usually in Artist Alley, so they set up a string of tables and the artists sit there and sketch. Like I was
Yeah.
talking to Tom and Terry Hodges.
Yeah.
And like you were right next to other people. You can't get 6 feet away from your fellow artists. And then there's
No.
the big press for people who come up to leaf through your stuff. They're touching
Yep.
your art. Everything's in plastic sleeves. And, it's honestly, it's like a horror movie in the making.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to come up with like pandemic at the Comic Con,
Oh dear.
and people are going to turn into scary zombies. But did
As
you
opposed to non-scary zombies.
right? Did you, Jeff? And I know Colleen didn't see this, and I kind of recommend that she doesn't because it's really, really, really violent.
Probably.
Did you see Kingsman: The Secret Circle?
The Kings. No, I haven't seen any of the Kingsman movies yet.
Okay, I've been not sleeping, so I watched the two that they've made. They want to do a
Okay.
trilogy, but they made two, and the first one is super stylish, over the top, more James Bond than James Bond. It's
Okay.
phenomenally violent in a Quentin Tarantino Kill Bill kind of way.
Oh boy.
Very artful slow motion blood sprays and things like that.
Of
And
course.
there's one scene where Mr. Darcy, what's his name?
Colin Firth.
Colin Firth. Colin Firth kills 58 people in
Oh
one scene,
Jesus.
and it is ballet, but
Huh.
it is super violent and just it's horrible, and it's all done to the tune of Freebird, Leonard Skinner's Freebird. It's really amazing. The second movie, I did not expect this because I knew nothing about these going in except that it was about stylish British agents. Period. That was like all I
Yeah.
knew, and that it had Taron Egerton in it, and it had Colin Firth in it. And I like,
Yeah.
okay, I like both those guys. I'll go check this out. Um, the second one features this epidemic that affects everybody, and it affects them quickly, and they end up like sheltering people in stadiums and convention centers and stuff, and I'm like, whoa, because this is a completely fantasy situation, and the thing that affects them is also, I don't want to give anything away in case you want to watch it, but the thing that affects them is also kind of a fantasy James Bond villain, almost more like a Batman villain, and these are based on comic
Yeah.
books, so it takes a very comic book approach. But
Okay.
there were some things they were doing to deal with with their particular pandemic that were just like really on the nose for what's going on right now. And Bruce Greenwood, who always plays a senator or a president or something like that, he was the
Yeah.
president, and boy,
Oh,
is
nice.
he a piece of work. Yeah, it's really interesting. If you can stand the bloodletting, uh, it's a really really fun movie, and it's comic book in its violence, but it's still let's spray the screen with blood kind of a deal. But there is part of me that wishes I'd kind of gone to see it in a big theater. Would have been really fun. But yeah, I know
Check
you
that
can
out.
You can handle horror movies,
Yeah, yeah.
Jeff.
I,
So
I,
it's probably a good thing for you. I think you'd enjoy it,
okay.
but not one for Serena.
Yeah, not likely. No.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
So I took aspirin. Thank you for letting me finish dinner. I appreciate that. And I'll show you my day has been so bad that I'm still in my robot pajamas. That's how the day has gone.
But the day was a little bit better because dinner was, if anybody watched the unboxing that I did last weekend of
Of
Portos,
Portos, yeah,
we
that was
we
good.
had Portos for dinner, so
Yes.
that was nice.
It was good. It was very, very good. And although my cheese roll got covered in salad dressing,
Well, I'm sorry. Well, it was because you put it up on
I did. I put
a
my plate.
pile of
I put
stuff
my
at an
plate
angle.
at an angle, and it ran together.
Yeah, but it was the salad dressing you liked.
Yes,
the
it was
honey
still
mustard.
good. It was still good.
Yeah.
But
I once went on a picnic and
it was not coffee.
somebody was shaking salad dressing that was raspberry vinaigrette.
Mhm.
And when they shook it, the lid wasn't on all the way and it
Oh, no.
sprayed across the dessert I had made, which were lemon bars. It was so good.
Yeah, it
Lemon
actually
bars
worked
with
out.
raspberry vinaigrette. Not bad.
That was much better than the time we were in like a Bob's Big Boy or something, and I shook the ketchup, and the ketchup had a split in the lid that
It
we
was an
didn't
A1
see.
bottle.
Oh, was it A1?
It was A1.
Oh my God, the
my
cap was
God.
broken, and you couldn't tell it was broken until it went wah! And so those I was talking about the artistic blood spatters in the other movie. This was like that with steak sauce.
Oh gosh.
Kind of went everywhere. And, yeah, it's funny now. It was
Yeah.
less funny then.
No, I think it was funny then too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that's funny with time.
Man. We were going somewhere. I don't remember where it was. It was like a wedding reception maybe or something, and they had these little bars or something. It was like, oh, here's this one. These have the raspberry sauce, and then unfortunately some of the ones, or a good chunk of the ones they brought in, it wasn't raspberry sauce.
Oh no.
It was like the
Hot
like,
sauce?
I'm trying to think and I can't think of it now.
Was it spicy?
um
Tomato sauce? Was it
like
red?
like a vinegary, like the like Italian vinegar,
Like vinaigrette, red wine vinaigrette?
balsamic. It was
Balsamic.
vinegar.
Ah, okay.
Oh, but balsamic
It was-
vinegar can be really good on desserts like ice cream.
We've had it on ice cream,
Super good
and
on
it's
ice
been
cream.
really
But on
good.
but
Yeah,
on the other, just you're like, oh dear.
that's funny.
Hey, let's what else do we have to talk about here? Oh, Daisy Ridley and
I haven't even opened the document yet.
Eunice Suotomo. Did I say that right?
Eunice. I think
Eunice.
it's Eunice Sutomo.
Eunice Suotomo. Both did story time readings. Daisy read a book about BB-8 and Eunice read Chewie and the Porgs.
Yeah.
So they also did a character specific or character
Of course.
appropriate story. I've been actually listening to story time, and that is I'm gonna have to go look at my phone to see what it is. It's Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, okay.
So it's taking kind of a while.
And zombies?
Not zombies. No zombies.
Oh, okay.
It's read by Jennifer L, who, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right either. But she was the person who was in the best version, the BBC miniseries of
Okay.
the one with we just said his name.
Colin Firth.
Colin Firth.
Right.
Gotcha.
And so having her read it is really fun because when you're the actor, you don't read the book necessarily.
Right.
And so there are some things in the book that are cracking her up.
Oh,
And-
right on. And she's like laughing along with the story.
Yeah, she's like,
Oh,
I
good.
can't believe how rude this guy is. And
Is she doing that as she
yes.
reads it? Oh, that's the
and
best.
and a lot of times she goes and she sits in her car with her dog to read.
Oh.
Like maybe in the driveway,
It's,
I'm not
it's
even
a good
really sure.
closed environment. Yeah.
And-
it's like being in your closet, but it's bright.
And so like she'll be reading and then you'll hear this or scratching noise or something and she'll say Violet and the dog
Oh.
will stick its nose in.
That's fun.
So it's really delightful, and I've mostly been listening to it while I'm doing chores around the house. So it's making that a little bit easier too.
I want to do, and I talked about doing this when we first did Twitch. I want to like start a book and like read a book
Yeah.
and do it. I don't know if it's something that should be done like every night, like a bedtime story time thing, or if it's something that should be done like once a week. You do a chapter.
I would do it. I would do it like plan to do it every night, and if
Yeah.
it didn't happen, then
Right. Well, and it
Yeah.
would have to be like earlier than this show, and then like it would have to be like 5:30 or 6.
as long as people could go back to it, like if it's on YouTube,
Right.
then
And
because that's what I'm doing. She's been like she might already be done
Right.
with the book. She started at the very
but
beginning,
you're doing them sequentially.
and I'm
Yeah.
listening to all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking of reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Is it
And
out of like is it copyrighted? Because that could be.
I don't know. I don't think it's. It could be an issue, but I don't think it is.
Because like I would love to do the Vorkosigan series, the first 2 books. There's one, Shards of Honor
Right.
and Barrier. I would love to do those 2 books because the person who does the audiobook is a man, and
They're a female point of view.
they're a female point of view,
Yeah.
which
That's
for the rest of the characters in the books, it's fine because
Right.
they're all from a male point of view. But these first 2 are from a female point of view, and I find it kind of distressing to hear it read by a man.
well, and I've heard these particular audiobooks, and he's got a good voice. Although he's a little robotic, he kind of sounds like a text to speech voice. He's got that like he has this kind of voice that does this sort of thing, but he's a good reader, and his but whenever he does a female voice, he affects a female voice. So it would be like me doing this to be a woman, and having him do that through an entire book would be insane.
The part that really annoys me about it is when he's reading the woman and she's trying not to cry,
Oh,
because I don't buy his trying not to cry.
trying not to
as-
cry, right?
I don't know that I could do it either because I might not be a good enough of an actress, but it sounds like a man pretending to be a woman trying not to cry. It doesn't sound like a woman trying not to cry.
Well, you might though end up, depending on how invested in the story you are, you might end up with the Anne McCaffrey issue.
Oh, yeah. No, that's bad.
Anne McCaffrey, we were listening to an audiobook, and she killed off one of her characters and cried through that part of the audiobook. She was like so sad, like genuinely cried. And oh my gosh, it was
really hard to.
it was because
It was annoying.
you feel for her, but it's like your level of sympathy is also like, well, dude, you killed her. You know, you killed this character. You're the author.
It wasn't just like a gentle, a
Right.
catch in her voice or something
Right.
like that.
No.
She was sobbing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
and you're
was
like,
really funny.
okay, now I'm over this.
Well, and I teased Todd McCaffrey about that.
Oh,
too.
really?
Yes. So
That's funny.
when we do conventions, Todd is there frequently, and he
He
a
ends
super,
up on a lot of the same sexual harassment panels.
he's a
that we do.
super nice guy. He's a super nice guy, and we have writer friends in common that he is mentoring the Winner twins who write young adult fiction.
Nice.
One of whom just got married. I think Britt just got married. Anyway, they're super super sweet, and so we always have something in common when we see him. And I was giving him a hard time about his mom. I'm like, I love your mom's voice, but he's like, yeah, she's really invested even in her own characters, But it's good though, and it makes for a good audiobook. In my case, yeah, I would like to read something. I don't know what, and I don't want to like go like the Dracula, Frankenstein. I know these are in the public domain things, and I don't mind public domain. And we were at the bookstore looking for books when we first started doing Twitch like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the bookstore. We could not make the really helpful woman at the bookstore quite understand what the project was.
Yeah.
She kept recommending, like, you should read this new young adult book that just came out because it's really great. I'm like, nah, exactly what we're looking for.
Right.
And I also think it would be really weird to have me on video as an old guy reading like a young adult book. It would be kind of creepy. But I don't mind doing like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or The Time Machine or something like that.
Yeah.
But something like Hitchhiker's Guide is more my style. And I don't know if I would get busted for that or not. Usually it's music they bust you for. And there are radio dramas of Hitchhiker's Guide, but I don't think there's a proper like book on tape. And I
Oh no.
can go to any
Well,
library
and I
and
mean,
read
the author is
this.
at least deceased.
Yes,
The
he
Lois
is.
McMaster Bujold is still alive, so it's not like
Right.
And I'm stay alive.
Yes. Right. But
My
yeah,
God.
and there's
Write more.
not going to be more Douglas Adams. And to be fair, I did a software project with Douglas Adams where I was doing QA on it. I had occasion to meet him through that. First, super nice guy, and he gave us permission to throw a party at LostCon that was based on Milliways, and he was gonna come before he got a speaking gig through his agent and had to go to Boston instead. But he was gonna show up at our Milliways party, which would have been amazing.
Yay.
Would have been incredible. And so he was game for anything. And so, were he still around and I said, "Hey, do you mind if I do this?" He would probably go yes.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty cool. But sadly, no longer with
Yeah,
us.
yes.
Losing Douglas Adams was a hard one, and I think he passed away on your birthday.
That's rude.
Which was rude, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like, I mean, he should have just picked a different day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got control over that sort of thing,
Well, yeah, I mean, not. That's true.
Oh boy.
Curse you, Douglas
So,
Adams.
So the this past week, as during this whole stay at home or whatever, there was something I did find that I was basically on YouTube to listen to when Sean's show wasn't going on in the morning. So I'm at work and I'm listening to this stuff, and it was actually the first one I found was The Hobbit, but read by Nicol Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Nicol Williams.
Yeah, from Nicol Williamson. So that one was really good because he was really good at it. And it's like, I don't know when this thing was read. It's old. And then after that, I found, of course, the Lord of the Rings radio dramas, which I think 81.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
those on CD actually. I have a whole stack of them over here, and I kept meaning to make MP3s out of them. But they're performed, and it's like a performed live reading, which they're really good.
Yeah, it was like, and Ian Holm got to play Frodo, which
Yes.
is funny since he played Bilbo later on.
Yeah, which was kind of cool that he kind of did both of those. And if
Yeah.
you like the Star Wars ones, these are equally as good, and they have scenes in them that were not in the movies,
Yeah, exactly.
which are cool. So they're pretty faithful to the books. And I think there's like 8 or 9 discs.
Yeah.
But
pretty
yeah,
insane.
gosh, they were great. I haven't listened to those in forever. I keep meaning, like I said, to make MP3s out of them, and I never did.
Yeah.
They just sit and collect dust in the corner.
Alrighty. So, Sam Witwer.
Yeah, Sam Witwer.
Sam Witwer. It's just got his last name here.
Oh.
Sam Witwer praises Ray Park's Mall in Clone Wars.
Yes.
Did anybody watch Clone Wars?
We watched some of it. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but I thought this was the last season.
Um,
Maybe I'm wrong.
this is the last season. They came up with a new season right now that's still airing.
Yeah, but I figured
It
that he would be praising his work in
Yeah.
this season.
Well,
Yes.
did they
For the
get
final season? Yes.
did they get Ray Park to play Darth Maul in this season? Because Sam
believe what
Witwer
they
has
did
been
was-
playing Darth Maul in the Clone Wars.
Okay.
No,
hang
what
on.
they did motion capture for this season.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
I wonder I
I think it's
wonder.
pretty cool when they do motion capture.
Well, yeah, but I wonder how that changes the style of animation from what went before, because they had really stylized animation in the previous
Well, it
seasons of
was. I
Clone
think
Wars.
it was still stylized, but they created all the fight stuff originally.
Hmm.
So this was different because they captured it.
Well, that's
So it
cool.
was a little more.
That's pretty awesome. I always
It's much more
The
on the beam.
the Lucasfilm motion capture that they use is a little different than like their suits are
the
different than the
ILM
suits
suits
we
are
use.
different because they
Yeah.
have on location motion capture that they mostly do.
Yeah.
If you watch the behind the scenes of Pirates of the Caribbean, in a lot of cases, they don't even use suits, depending on what's going on. They'll have the actors wear rings with patterns on them, but their suits are really really cool. I love the
I
pattern
I've had
on them.
those suits in our studio before.
I know, and
We did when we did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I could
Yeah.
not convince Colleen to steal one of these suits for me because
Oh,
I'll tell you,
Goodness.
I'm not going to look good because I'm not particularly athletic, but I will suck it up for the joke. I want to wander around the convention in one of those suits, and any
Yeah.
character I see who's a CG character, I just want to follow them around for 5 minutes and mimic everything they do as
Yes.
if I'm the motion capture guy and they're the character. I think that would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you just get a morph suit and some ping pong balls, I suppose. That's
Yeah, I kind of want to go a little more authentic on it. But yeah, if you have seen Spider-Man: Far From Home, the suit that they use in that's one of the characters' actual costumes that they show,
yeah.
that is kind of like what ILM uses.
yeah.
It's a fantasy version of that, but it still kind of gives you that. But that's cool. I always feel bad for Ray Park. He's a super nice guy, and I've worked with him on 3 or 4 projects now. Jeff and myself and Kit and Lori and Trevor and a bunch of folks. We were Star Wars advisors for the TV series Breaking In. We brought our collections down, we put them on display, did things like that. And Ray Park was there
Oh, yeah.
as a security guard, sort of reprising his role that he did for Adam Goldberg back in Fanboys. He did the same thing where he came out, he did a bunch of movies. He was super nice. He hung out with all of us and was super super gracious. And I always felt bad that he didn't get to really. He got to do like mocap, or he got to be the actor in the suit, or whatever. But they very rarely use his voice. They always overdub him, and he's got a really great voice. He could have very easily been Darth Maul, and they replaced him with Peter Serafinowicz in the movie. And Peter's got a great voice too, but I was
Yeah,
that
totally.
always just and I don't know why that bugs me more than like say Darth Vader, because like I've met David Prowse too, gone drinking with Dave Prowse, and he's a super nice guy also, and things like. But I think Ray could have pulled off Darth Maul, whereas I don't think Dave Prowse really pulls off Vader.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the James Earl Jones presence, and so I'm much more okay with that than I am with them dubbing
yeah.
over Ray Park, and I don't know why. It's and I'll admit that I'm colored by having spent maybe more time with Ray than with Dave, but
Yeah.
I always felt like he was kind of ripped off. And so, at least when he was like Toad in X-Men, it's like they kind of used him for a while, and that was cool. But and then he was Snake Eyes, and he didn't have to talk. 'Cause
Yeah.
Snake Eyes
know,
doesn't say
jeez.
anything. That's a perfect role. Yeah.
Man.
But that's cool. I'm glad they did that. Sam Witwer was also doing the Emperor for a while on the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
and then somebody went, "Well, did anybody ask Ian McDermott if he wanted to do it?" And I think they went, no, we just assumed." And then they went to Ian McDermott. He's like, "Well, of course, dear boy, I'll totally do it."
dear boy.
Yeah. If if you've met Ian McDermott, that is totally him. He's
Oh, how
although
funny.
this is like the name drop show. I'm just gonna keep name dropping celebrities. When we were at Celebration 7 or 8, Jeff and Kit and myself and whatever, we were knocking around with Christian Slater, and he took us over and used his celebrity to introduce us to everybody, which was like really honestly one of the coolest things he could have done. We showed him what we thought were cool things at the convention, and then he said, okay, I'll show you my cool thing. And he took us over, and we said hi to Carrie and to Mark and to all these great people. And he took us up to Ian McDiarmid, and I'm dressed like Obi-Wan, and I've got the Yoda puppet with me. And he comes, he's like, oh, hello, it's so good to meet you. And this is nice. And then he looks at Yoda, and he drops into a sinister voice. He's like, didn't I kill you? And it was like, wow. It was just like sudden menace. And then he's like, just kidding. It's really funny.
It's almost a Monty Python skit.
Yeah. I don't do this at conventions, and you don't either, Colleen, and I don't think Jeff does. I get why people go and they buy the photo ops, though. To get those little moments. Because I really treasure all of those little meetings that we had. And sometimes at conventions, to get that, you have to pay for that. And of course, we have no pictures of us with celebrities at all, because we went up, we said hi, we shook hands, or in the case of Carrie Fisher, gave hugs or did whatever. But we have no pictures of us doing that. We don't have a buddy picture of like arms around them, finger pointing, going, I'm a little celebrity. We don't have that.
I have that for Paul Williams.
You do for Paul Williams, yes.
I stood in line for that.
Took that picture, but he didn't charge you $250
No,
for that.
he did not.
He went.
He was so gracious.
You already bought a ticket to my concert.
Yes.
And
we were like the last or the second to last in line too.
We dragged our feet. Yeah, we dragged our feet a little bit because I wanted to talk with him just a little bit, but not keep him. But we had been talking by Twitter, and so I wanted to say hi because I had mentioned you, and that we were excited to come and that kind of thing. And so but I totally get why people do these photo opportunities, and because you get that moment, and then you get a picture to commemorate it, and you get these conversations, and it's pretty cool. I mention a lot that I don't collect autographs, and I never want to sound like I'm down on that for people who do that. Especially if they're just collecting them in person. If you're collecting them and selling on eBay, well, you're kind of a jerk. But but if you get them personally because you like them and you want a memento of meeting the celebrity, that's totally awesome. And I realize in the past couple weeks I've been talking about that a lot. Like we were talking about it yesterday, and I kind of sound like I'm down on people who collect autographs. That's not true. I just kind of like felt the need to say that because I realize, I sort of sound negative about that, just because I don't do it. And that's the only reason is I don't do it. But for people who do, I totally get that. And our friend Sharon, who's in Road Squadron, she's got like an entire wall of these things, and she'll get into group buys actually, which is really interesting. So someone who's really hard to get at, like Harrison Ford, they will get a group buy together. Everybody sends their stuff in. One of the autograph facilitators will meet with Harrison, and he'll sit down and he'll sign everything, and they'll take pictures of him holding it up or signing it or doing whatever to prove he had his hands on it, and then send that picture along with whatever the articles were that were signed. And that's really neat. And oh my gosh, Sharon's got an insane collection of this stuff. And honestly, it sort of looks like, some people buy stocks and go, yeah, this will be my retirement fund. That wall looks like her retirement fund. Some incredible people who've signed that stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty neat. Cool stuff.
Sure.
Well, groovy. I can't get my document to come back up. Here it is.
I haven't opened the document yet.
Daisy Ridley talked about the Return of the Sith backlash, and she basically said if she doesn't like a movie...
Rise of Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, that one.
You were obviously reading an abbreviation.
Yeah.
Well,
I went through and tried to unabbreviate stuff so that I could remember.
Well, because there's Revenge of the Sith,
but...
and then there's Rise of Skywalker, and the only difference is the one letter T in there.
Yeah.
It's like ROTS or ROS, and it gets real confusing.
Anyway, she was talking about it, but it was another one of those articles where someone said one sentence and someone else made it into an entire article. She basically said if she doesn't like a movie, then she doesn't send nasty texts about it. She just doesn't like it, which is the same thing that we've said.
Right.
we're
If
on
you
the
don't
safe.
have anything nice to say,
Then
don't say anything at all.
don't tweet
Yeah.
anything at
Sure.
all.
But
Yep.
the difficult thing is that people get views for being angry about stuff,
Right.
and that's a
Yeah.
legitimate, public social media strategy.
Right.
Um,
And then there was a similar article where Rosario Dawson talked about um, wanting to be cast in The Mandalorian and in future Star Trek
Yeah.
items.
she
And
said
she
she wanted
said
to be Q.
she said that she wanted to be in both of these things,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
she won't say if she actually is. And yeah, she
No.
said she wanted to be Q.
yeah.
So, which would be really cool.
Well, and of course she's supposedly uh, up for the role of Ahsoka. And it has
Yeah.
been said that
Well, we
she
don't
is
know.
in the next series as Ahsoka, or they're going to do something with her as Ahsoka. Nobody knows. I think she'd be great at it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how it shakes out. But she's a Star Wars fan. She's a legit sci-fi comic fan, and I always like when those people get the roles,
Yeah.
because they're excited about it. They'll put
Right,
they'll put
yes.
in the work.
Yeah.
And so, like, you may not have liked Seth Rogen's Green Hornet.
Yeah.
He busted his butt though to
Yeah.
do that. He
Yeah.
really worked his butt off to do it because he loves that stuff.
What's his
Yeah.
name as Frodo?
Right. Oh my gosh. Elijah Wood,
Yeah, sorry.
who
I'm
went
telling
up
people
into
what's
the
his name.
hills, up into the hills of like Griffith Park with a camera, dressed in a costume he culled from his closet, and made an audition tape as Frodo and sent it to Peter Jackson, and went, "Hey, dude, I want in," which
Yeah.
was pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that works, and I like all the fan art that people are doing where they're taking. There's a picture of Rosario Dawson hugging Hayden Christensen,
Oh.
and people have taken that picture and done her as Ahsoka and him as Anakin. Really interesting, and she she looks good. She
Yeah.
looks really good, and she's really in keeping with. And I know this doesn't have a real bearing on anything, but she's really in keeping with the theme park version of Ahsoka, where typically and traditionally they use ethnic actresses to do it,
Yeah.
and then they paint the performers orange, so it doesn't really matter, but it gives them a more exotic look and much more in keeping with the animation of Clone Wars. And so yeah, I think she'd nail it. I think she'd nail it. And I love Ashley Eckstein. She's one of my convention friends that I go say hi to every time at every convention that she's at. But I don't know. I'd like to see Rosario Dawson get a shot at it. So
I would watch her in both of those roles.
I would. I totally would. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, on May 4th for what has come to be known as Star Wars Day, on Disney Plus. It's a documentary about the Mandalorian.
It's the Star Wars day that everybody turns into Sylvester the cat. May the Fourth be with
Oh.
you. That actually looks pretty cool, like a behind the scenes thing. Now, this week, like a couple days ago, based on some of the posts I saw on my Facebook feed, was the anniversary of Kit and a whole bunch of 501st people being in The Mandalorian, going down and shooting their stormtrooper scenes
Nice.
and whatnot. So I imagine we'll get to see them behind the scenes, which would be really fun.
Hope so.
And I could see where they would save that for May the 4th, especially if we're all, still staying at home. I imagine that Star Wars Day is going to be very, very different. And in fact, I have my phone here. I got a text earlier that I didn't get to really read or respond to because I was like groggy in bed and whatnot. But we do a big event at the Rancho Cucamonga Library.
Yeah.
And it's Memorial Day weekend, and it's absolutely huge. There's thousands of people who show up, and we get like 200 501st and Rebel Legion and Saber Guild and Mando Merc people to come in, and we put the cars on display. Jeff's there, Colleen's there, I'm there. We all go. Kit's there. they just got permission from Disney and Lucasfilm to do it as a virtual Star Wars Day event.
Wow.
Wow.
So I just
So
got
I guess you are busy
Guacamole.
that day.
yeah. So I just got I just got the text for it, and I'll have to talk to Alan. If you're listening,
Yeah.
Alan, this is awesome news. And I'm sorry I didn't send you back. I've been sick most of the day, but that's super cool news. And yeah, I can't wait. We will do something amazing. Um, Yuri's night, which we normally would have done this past Saturday, went virtual, and they had all sorts of interesting people. They had like Chris Hadfield and lots of neat people like that do interviews with them, and they had an entire virtual event over the course of the day, which was super
Huh.
neat. So all the astronauts and people who were going to be there at the event anyway around the world did it virtually. And so I think something like that can work. Letting everybody know that it's happening is uh, is the tough part, I think.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, we have video that we can show of the parades that we've done. We have we have all sorts of really interesting things that we can put up for a virtual Star Wars Day. We can still have like Zoom panels and things with the
Nice.
writers and things. So we'll have to see how it works
Okay.
out. But at least we have official permission to do it, which
Nice.
that gives us leverage. And so
Yeah.
when we contact writers and actors and things like that, we can go, Disney's behind us. So
Woo.
yay, Alan, for
Yeah.
digging
Yeah,
that up.
good job.
So, you mentioned May 4th because the Mandalorian and all that stuff. That's typically also the same weekend as comic book day and stuff. And I don't think that's going to be happening either.
Free Comic Book Day is probably not going to happen. It's always the first Saturday of
Yeah.
May, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, unless
Let's,
people do a conga line outside the store where they stay 6 feet away and they pick up comics in sanitized bags.
yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen either. Because
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Not at
right.
all.
You're right, Jeff. We're usually at some store or another.
Yeah.
In fact, Free Comic Book Day is the day in my history that I have done the most events. I did 8 in one day.
Yeah.
And I started in San Diego and I ended in Pasadena, and I did events from there to here. And because there were so many going on, I went to
Yeah.
like 3 comic book stores, and there was a kids hospital and a deaf awareness thing and like a leukemia 5K and an autism party. I mean,
Jeez.
it was an insane day.
Yeah.
That's like when I look back on my costuming career, that's like one of the days it's going to stand out. But it's such a busy day because everybody wants to do everything on May 4th.
Yeah.
And when it falls on Free Comic Book Day, it's murder. It's
For
absolute
sure.
murder.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But hey, we get to do this one. Like I said earlier, I'm still in my robot jammies. I could do Free Comic Book Day in my robot jammies.
That's
I
right.
could dress in costume from the waist up. Nobody would know. I'm going to take this opportunity to do our top of the hour check-in here. You are listening to Krypton Radio if you're over at kryptonradio.com. That's our listener-supported radio station that's been going on for 10 years, and where we have been for 4 or 5 years. We've been doing it for quite a while over there. When we came from Holonet Radio, we went over to there.
Yeah.
Holonet Radio, which hasn't updated their Facebook page since 2015 and is long gone. Uh, rest in peace. And so Krypton Radio, take a look around there. Check out the news stuff. I don't know if people are over on the Discord server. We always encourage people to come over to Twitch if they want to chat or to post things on Facebook. We are on Facebook, which is facebook.com/docking
Bay.
BD94 radio show. It's like all one word. And then we're on Twitch if you want to see us. And so you can go to twitch.tv/docking_bay_94. And that's where we're having a pretty lively discussion. You can see 2/3 of us because I can't get the video to work for Jeff. It worked last week. What the heck? But we are over there, and there's a lively chat going on, and all of the links that Kit posts over on Facebook, she's posting over on Twitch, and that's awesome too. So please do join us in either of those locations. But thanks for being here. I am Sean Obi, Sean Crosby.
This is Jeff Soledadaho.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
And we are tired but happy.
Okay. So, Costume Command Center, the Bad Batch from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I did not look at that article.
Costume Command Center?
That's what it says.
I guess.
Yeah.
The article actually says cosplay. When you go click on the article, it's starwars.com, Cosplay Command Center. Killian Plunkett, the art director for Star Wars The Clone Wars, offers his tips on cosplaying your favorite member of Clone Force 99.
I see. Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of good. They have some 3D turnarounds of the armor, which if you're a costumer, that's pretty amazing.
And
And
they give details and tell you how to do parts,
right.
too.
Well, and if
Yeah.
they tell you what parts of the armor are standard clone armor, and then tell you what new stuff you have to do. The guy that they're showing right now, which is Hunter, I'm looking at this 3D turnaround, and they're doing a close up.
Well, they've got
totally
several
Rambo.
Of those.
Yeah.
They've got, this character and a 3D turnaround in several images. And
Right. This particular one I'm looking at,
is it Tech?
he's Rambo. No, it's Hunter.
I know.
And so he's got
so
like
there's-
the red band and the long hair, and he totally.
Hunter, Tech, Crosshair, Wrecker.
They
that's
have
it.
provided a lot of really cool reference here to
Yeah.
do these. So I'm sure these will be
man.
pretty huge. I did a design on a Tesla X. I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do for a car. And there's no way I can afford a Tesla X, but I made it look like a Republic gunship from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And I have had more comments from people who are really digging this latest season of Clone Wars. They're like all over that. They're like, this is the car you have to do because Clone Wars is everything, and it's really funny. This latest season, I guess, has really lit a fire under people's butts. I totally expect that were Celebration to happen, we would see lots of these guys in teams. People would band up and play the entire Bad Batch, I bet.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people on my Facebook feed who are like, I'm not going to tell you what my secret Clone Wars project is, but you can probably guess if you're smart. It's like, Bad Batch?
Exactly.
But it's these guys remind me very much. There was a video game a while back that was fun, actually. It was sort of like a squad tactics kind of video game that was called Republic Commando, and they had clone commando units that were these guys. Basically, they were the Bad Batch. They were the guys with the super amazing skills that surpassed all of the other clone units. And you had a team of 4, and they would go out and kick butt. And they had special weapons and things like these guys did. Although I don't know that you ever saw them with their helmets off the way these guys did. But it's kind of cool. I love that one of the pictures that they show you in the 3D turnaround of Hunter, at the very least. I don't know if they do it for Tech, because Tech's not really shown with his helmet off. They show you a shot inside the helmet so you can see the padding. That's some dedication on behalf of the costume guys. That's pretty sweet. So, yeah, it's cool stuff. Were I maybe in better shape, I'd probably take on the Tech character. He looks pretty neat.
Yeah.
He's very anime. Plus, he wears glasses, and I can relate to that. I know it's Star Wars. They're probably goggles. Shut up.
Yeah.
He's got glasses. I'm sticking to it.
Pretty much.
But yeah, did Kit put this entry in the thing? I
Yeah.
I appreciate that she made the substitution from cosplay to
To costume.
costume. Yeah.
Yeah. Because cosplay sounds icky.
Cosplay.
Um, Baby Yoda from Build-A-Bear was up for orders and sold out in about an hour.
Of
Wow.
course.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. You were supposed to be able to walk into the store and pick one up, like now,
Yeah.
but I guess not. It's cute enough. I haven't pulled the trigger on any of those. I know I want one, but I haven't decided what one I want. I like the animatronic one that's like half size.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 7.5 inches or something like that. But in reality, he's supposed to be like this big, supposed to be like
Yeah.
18 inches or something. So I don't know. I haven't really decided. And the Build-A-Bear one, I like some of the things that they do. Like their Doctor Who ones were really cute. But they're always branded as Build-A-Bear. They've always got something on them somewhere that's like they embroider into the thing, and I'm like, ugh.
I don't know.
It's like buying a thing with the Nike logo that you can't take off. Because I
I'll look on-
Well,
always
it's
do.
like the costumes when we were kids. If there was a Snow White costume, it said Snow White on it.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
didn't. It had it like right here. It would say Snow White.
right.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody's got to wear a mask now when you go outside. And so I've seen a lot of people joking around about wearing those Ben Cooper costumes from when we were little kids. It had the terrible plastic mask with the little
No,
slot.
you wouldn't be able to breathe.
Well, you wouldn't be able to breathe, but nothing's getting through that. They're like indestructible. And
Oh,
basically,
geez.
there's just like there's your face.
Big bunch of
Yeah.
sweat.
There's a layer of moisture created
Yep.
from sweating and breathing, and then there's the plastic mask.
But the thing's only like this
Yeah.
deep.
Right,
Yeah.
it is. And those.
But you have to, if you're going to wear one of those, you have to wear the vinyl poncho
exactly.
with the printed thing
That
on it.
always
that
had
you
the
wear.
character name on it. So it would be Superman, right? And he would have it would be Superman's face with the signature curl, and it only covers your face. And then down here,
Jesus.
instead of just having the S, it has Superman written across it.
Well, my parents knew that I loved Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Like, oh, Spider-Man. Okay, so my dad went out and got me one of those,
yeah.
and it wasn't Spider-Man. It
Oh
was
no,
called Spider-Man, but
It-
it wasn't Spider-Man.
it was a Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was a guy that was like it was a total.
It was
knockoff
Joe
of
Spider-Man.
It was like yellow and stuff, and yeah, it was just
It
totally
was
bizarre.
it was a guy named S. Spider-Man.
No, it was Joe
that was his name.
Spider-Man.
Hi, the S stands for Sam.
It's like it's like as if they were going. Well, we're going to make a lot of concept art for Spider-Man before we put it in a comic form. Okay, that first one throw in the trash. And that's the one I got.
Right. Well, but see
So-
now that's just another Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
So you
Fully
were
expect to see that.
you were ahead of the curve, dude. Yeah, I had a bad one of those, and I don't remember what it was, but they were so terrible. You know what I had? I had Mickey Mouse, I think.
Oh, yeah, we have a photo of that.
And it was
That's not right.
It was like a flat Mickey head mask, and
It's like somebody who's it's like tiny little bank robber you.
Right, yeah. I seriously, I look like Point Break. There's like something going on, and I think that was the line that my mom decided she wouldn't cross the following year, and so the next year or the year after, she made me a full-on Adam West Batman costume. It was like all polyester. It was hot as heck. She didn't understand the concept of spats. So the boots she made me had fabric bottoms on them, which I wore out over the course of Halloween. But it was not a bad Batman costume. And in fact, we saved it. And 12 years after I wore it, my younger brother wore it.
Wow.
Nice.
And it was, it was not bad. And I don't have a picture of me in it, but I think I have a picture of him in it. And it was a pretty cool thing. So my mom had some good sewing skills. And once in a while, she would do something neat. And then, like, as teenagers, the costumes went to hell again, where we just, like, wandered around the neighborhood as spacemen wearing bicycle helmets and things like that.
Oh boy.
Oh man, I was a hobo for like 7 years.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Just, but to your mom's credit, she never dressed up as one too and made you do like a vaudeville act from door to door, which is totally your mom's speed.
Yeah, don't give her any
Your mom
ideas. She'll
totally
do
would
it
have
now.
done that.
I was about to say that my mom didn't do Halloween, but I do remember her doing Halloween some years.
And my mom did
Gotcha.
Wonder Woman one
She
year.
probably did it more than my dad did.
My mom dressed up as Wonder Woman to go to a party with my stepdad, who dressed as Santa Claus. It was a weird pair.
It's a weird pair.
And we just like happened to have a Santa suit or something, and so he went as Santa. But what my mom didn't count on was that people kept hitting on her at the party
Of course.
because Wonder Woman. And yeah, and she's like, yeah, I don't think I can wear that again.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh
it,
man.
it was not a safe costume, but she looked good. She did a full-on Linda Carter Wonder Woman costume. It was
Nice.
pretty amazing. Although she didn't make the cape. She totally should have made the cape.
No
I think
capes.
when I was in kindergarten, my mom made me underdog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I had the big U on my chest and
Right.
everything, and yeah.
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Yes.
Nice. I liked Underdog. You know what I liked? I don't know if you remember this cartoon series. Do you remember the Mighty Heroes? The Mighty Heroes were, I think, part of the Underdog oeuvre of cartoons that they would
Okay.
show, and it was Diaper Man and Tornado Man, and they were like the weirdest superheroes. Cuckoo Man was like this weird bird guy who kind of flew with no wings. We don't know how that worked.
Can't remember that one.
Diaper Man was a baby, and he used his baby bottle as a weapon. But it was that same sort of underdog, goofy, '60s style animation.
Yeah.
And I gotta find that theme, and I gotta play it on the show tomorrow because I loved
Play it tomorrow.
that. It was so stupid, but it was so
Yeah.
cool. And unlike Hong Kong Phooey, seems to hold up a lot better than Hong Kong Phooey did. But yeah, it was. I don't think it was Jay Ward exactly, but it was that.
no.
It was like an underdog or Tom
It's
Slick or Super Chicken. It had that kind of vibe from the same
like
time
the
period.
Ricochet Rabbit cartoons and stuff like that.
Bing, bing, bing. Ricochet
those.
Rabbit. Yeah.
I remember Ricochet Rabbit.
Wildcard 9 remembers the Mighty Heroes. Good. I'm not alone. And Rope Man. Yeah, Rope Man. Oh my
Rope
gosh.
Man?
Rope Man.
Wow.
That's funny. Sci-fi Commodore Jones said, I went as a female stripper one year when Showgirls was out. But did you go as, what was her name, Elizabeth Berkley? Did you go as her?
Does yours actually say stripper on
Oh
it?
dear.
It just says, I went as a female star.
Oh, you
On
must
mine.
have vulgarity turned off.
Oh.
Yes, mine actually says stripper. But yours is much more vague, and you could have made anything up.
Yeah, I was wondering what a female star was.
Prostitute? I have no idea. That's really funny.
So I have to say something funny about
Yes.
having profanity filters.
Yes.
Years ago, I joined the Cooking Light bulletin board. Like, I read about it in Cooking Light magazine and went there. And I'm actually, 20 years later, I'm still friends with these same people. And we have a Facebook group now. And
That's a
it's-
good thing, right?
yeah, that's a good thing.
Okay, all right.
But back when we had the Cooking Light bulletin board, you couldn't put anything that was considered profane. And one of the things that you couldn't put was prick.
Oh.
And so every time somebody wrote about making pie dough, they would get to the part, they'd have a recipe and they'd say, you know, put the top crust on, and it would be star, the top crust. And everybody was like, wait, what are you supposed to do there? Until we wised up and realized that they were
That's really funny.
not letting us say prick the pie crust.
Not to be confused with any actions that may have been taken in the film American Pie.
Right.
Wow. That's really funny. It's, yeah, vulgarity filters. I always tend to turn those off. They do get me in trouble periodically. where somebody will say something weird and I'm like, whoa, I didn't need to know that. Or there's a safe search function in Google,
Uh-huh.
and I usually turn that off because even when I'm searching for something like a car picture, sometimes it
Mm,
filters results and I don't get to see stuff. But then sometimes
yeah.
it'll be like, hey, here's a bunch of Star Wars stuff, and then it's like, oh, I did not need to see that. Why would somebody make that? No, no, that didn't happen.
I'm happy to have the filters turned on.
It's like, no, Leia,
Oh,
no.
Woody.
Yeah, it gets rough.
All right, moving on.
Dug-a-dung, dug-a-dung.
Maybe moving on. IGN hosted a Rogue One viewing on Wednesday afternoon with writers Gary and Chris.
I wanted to see that.
Cool.
I hope it's still
Did you know about it in
up.
advance?
I did. Yeah, Kit posted actually
He-
in our DB94 thread.
So I didn't realize that that was happening. I don't know if I missed it or whatever, but you should put that on the.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it was something that, I was doing something else or something. One of the difficulties with a lot of the things that people are doing is live streaming. It's like, oh, that's exactly when I do my morning show or something like that.
Oh, maybe it was.
And in this case, it was 5 p.m. Pacific time is when they did it, I guess. So I guess we
Wow.
probably
Pat Larson just joined.
could have done it. Really?
Hi, Pat.
Hi, Pat. Oh my gosh. Super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Gary Whitta is a super nice guy, and I would definitely like to see.
Although you might be disappointed, like I was, and put the Hamilton team is gonna sing on the calendar, and then have to go and delete it when it turns out to be a hoax.
It was a hoax, right? No,
Yeah.
this is real. I'm actually looking at the IGN page right now, and it is saved up here. It's a
Oh, so
three.
you can still
It's
see
a
it.
3-hour video.
Oh,
You just can't see
nice.
it live, but you can watch it after the fact.
Great.
And I think um, it's an IGN exclusive thing. I thought it was part of Entertainment Weekly, but it doesn't. It seems to be for IGN, but it's still there. It's a 3-hour view, and so yeah, we can watch it after the fact, which is pretty neat. And we've run into Gary Whitta at various events. Super nice guy. He's one of the few
Yeah.
people that I follow on Twitter because I'm not much of a Twitter guy, but he's always pretty interesting. And I think we had a really long conversation. I think it was Gary about Columbo. I think he's a big Columbo fan,
Oh.
and I think we did it. Unless I'm confusing him with Ryan Johnson, but I'm pretty sure it's Gary Whitta. I can't keep this stuff straight. I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, I was. Isn't Gary the one behind trying to get the last Starfighter off the ground?
Yeah, I think so. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, he was posting some art from it.
Yeah.
There was a thing that said, let's see, yeah, it was Gary Whitta, and
That's what I
he
thought.
said lots of people reacting like they had no idea I've been working on a sequel to The Last Starfighter. Yep, writing and producing it with original writer creator John Betchwell, and they did concept art for it. And we haven't heard anything recently, but as of last year, just under a year ago, it
Yeah.
was looking pretty awesome. So maybe, fingers crossed. We'll have to
Oh,
see.
geez.
Hey,
Yeah.
there's a picture here on the Google Doodle that's not exactly Jeff, but it makes me think of you because it's a guy with a mask on and a whole bunch of boxes next to him. He's a chef and he's cooking, but I looked at the boxes and I looked at the guy and I'm like, look, it's Jeff at work.
Well, just imagine the hat's my hair or something instead.
Right,
I'll do
exactly.
that
And it's
right.
like sticking up, kind of, because none of us have had a haircut in
Yeah.
weeks. a month, something like that. I've finally got gas in my car that I've been meaning to put in my car for a month. But
Oh
the
wow.
price just keeps going down, so I got it at $2.35, which is pretty great because it was like three
Yeah,
dollars and
totally.
35 cents when I was gonna go get it.
Yeah.
Uh,
You can now get Star Wars backgrounds for your Zoom meetings,
Yes.
and they've got some pretty cool ones.
oh, they have a Millennium Falcon backdrop that very much looks like one of the pictures that I took at Galaxy's Edge.
The L337 one.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, these are actually really great. Some of them are concept art, and some of them are still frames.
I don't like the Coruscant one. It
Uh,
just looks like a giant city.
yeah, it is. And to use that as your backdrop is like you're hanging in midair,
Yeah.
which is weird. It's a really
The
weird
Death Star
perspective.
Yeah.
ruins is pretty cool.
That's good. They have the Death Star control
Um,
room view where
yeah.
it's about to
I
blow
like
up
the hangar bay.
Yavin.
The Hoth
Yeah.
view, one of them just looks like a snowscape. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing that identifies it
Yeah,
as Star
it is.
Wars.
It is an actual like picture of the glacier.
Right.
Yeah, the Star Destroyer bridge is neat.
The Jakku one is cool.
That is. I don't think that's Jakku.
Oh.
I think that's Tatooine.
It looks like Tatooine, but it says Jakku. So.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, there's only one
was
sun, but
believing
there's
it.
moisture
Yeah. I love that
evaporators.
the. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to
That,
tell.
that's got to be Jakku.
If there was a second, I don't remember moisture evaporators on Jakku. I'm sure they're there, but I don't
Yeah.
remember them. The Kylo Ren Star Destroyer set picture just looks like Rise of the Resistance, which basically means that they
Yeah.
nailed Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
The Tatooine ones are pretty cool.
Yeah, all of the Millennium Falcon ones are pretty wicked. Um, so yeah, I have been very tempted to
Yeah.
just
I love
go,
the. I still like the hangar's pretty awesome.
yeah, with the X-wings in it.
Did I lose you guys? Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
I'm
The
totally
big
saving the
hangar bay shots.
Tatooine one.
Those are pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have been tempted to go and like make a temporary thing to hang a sheet or some fabric or something behind us in the living room for all the Zoom stuff that we're doing,
Yeah.
so that we have a green screen.
Also, the when the door to the kitchen is open and the light is coming
It's
through there,
blinding.
it's
Yeah.
blinding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we have temporary wall hooks. We could totally do something to stretch a green screen
Yeah.
over that
I don't
section.
think I have any of the right shade green, but
No, it doesn't have to be green. It just has to be a solid color.
oh,
You have to have contrast between you and the backdrop. So if it were a solid white wall, that would be okay. But if it's something pink, it could be orange, it could be anything.
Oh.
Black may even work. You want a very distinct outline between you and whatever the background is. Because like I can go in Zoom and I can turn it on here and it'll still work behind me here, just not very well. I will
it works
fade.
behind me in here.
Yeah.
But in the dining room, it digital goes digital over my face.
Right, because it
Right.
works at a certain focal length,
Yeah.
and the better background you have, the better it works. So yeah, it would be kind of fun to do that. We could totally pull that off because I've got like 6 of those temporary 3M hooks,
Yeah.
and if we had a that we wanted to sacrifice, put a couple of like grommet holes in or something, we could totally hook that up.
We could do that.
Yep.
We do have the skills.
Yeah, we could do green screen here on the Twitch feed too, if we wanted to. I just decided that was too much trouble, especially with the 3-camera setup, where it's like we would have to basically just do the entire room in green. But yeah, we could do that. Even the unboxing stuff, the green screen, I think would work with that. That kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
But those are neat.
Gotcha.
I totally got to save that page.
Stellan Skarsgård and Kyle Solar were added to Disney Plus's Cassian and K2 show.
Cool. So I assume
Yay.
Stellan Skarsgård is the villain?
I do not know. I don't even know who Kyle Solar is. Oh, there's a picture of him, and I still don't know who he is.
No, I don't either.
Sorry.
The Oh, that the movie that I said at the top of the show that I watched last, which was Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Mm-hmm.
One, the Kingsmen, which are a very British spy agency, partner up with the Statesman, which is the U.S. version
Mm-hmm.
of them,
Yeah.
and Pedro Pascal, who is the Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm.
is in it, and he plays a sort of Western cowboy kind of statesman character who is obviously modeled on Burt Reynolds, the
Hmm.
mustache and the hat, and he totally looks like Burt Reynolds, and um, so it's an action movie. So I actually got to see Pedro Pascal as who plays the Mandalorian do some kick butt action stuff,
Oh, nice.
which because you never know how much he's actually in that suit or not. You never see his face,
Mm-hmm.
and so this was pretty
Oh yeah.
much mostly, if not all, him. And yeah, it was kind of cool to see.
So the Stellan Skarsgård and Kyle Soller being added to Disney Plus's Cassian and K2 show is not actually final.
Okay,
They are in
Uh,
and
negotiations.
can we just call it that? Can it be the Cassian and K2 show?
yeah,
Because
because
Yeah.
that
it's like the morning zoo.
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the morning zoo, or it's kind of like it's some weird Saturday morning thing. It's like the Scooby and Scrappy Doo show, or I just
Yeah.
like the Cassian and K2 show sounds more comedic and less action oriented, and I'd almost kind of like to see that.
Okay. Sounds good. Um, moving on to theme parks. Um, they're continuing to raise the flag at Disneyland, even though Disneyland is closed, and they've done a couple of
Yes.
um, photos that they've put out of that.
Yeah.
And they put out. Sorry, Sean, you sound like you're about to say
Yeah,
something.
I was going to because I looked at the picture that was at least in the thumbnail, and
Mhm.
it looked like in addition to and of course I can't see what they're doing because they're showing some sort of stupid ad that I now can't watch. But based on that thumbnail, it looks like they have added the California flag to the flagpole, which they don't usually
Maybe.
do.
Interesting.
Usually it's just the American flag. And I think in an attempt to not be location oriented, they don't fly the state flag in there. But I think
Gotcha.
based on that thumbnail, and like I said, I can't actually watch the darn video because they've got some 30-second ad that they want to show me.
Rude.
It is. It's really
Yeah.
rude. And I'll tell you, I have been clicking off of anything that's got ads that they want me to do. YouTube showing me 30 seconds of ads, I'm gone. I'll
So
go
you know what
somewhere
I
else.
noticed today?
Hmm.
All the ads are back on Facebook. There was a couple of days where the ads on Facebook were way down
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
um, they couldn't give you ads for things that you couldn't do.
Right.
And then just within the last day or two, the same number of ads is back, but it's all like you could have this shipped to your house
Yeah.
or
Yeah. As everybody makes the switch, I've noticed
yeah.
that on the radio. We listen to a lot of, or I do. I listen to a lot of local news on
Yeah.
KNX 1070, which is one of the country's oldest radio stations, and they are like all news all the time. And their commercials have made a very gentle shift to we know that these are distressing times and
Oh,
staying
but that's
home
been a while
is
that
Yeah.
they've
hard, but
switched to those.
here's how you can still utilize our service. For a while they were
Yes.
all apologetic and
Oh
they were
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we're here
sorry.
with
Yeah.
you. Yeah, and that has changed to now here is how you can utilize our service while you're still at home.
Hmm.
And they are less apologetic, which honestly the apologizing was creepy.
It was bad.
And it's like and we get it by email and Facebook and stuff too. Like lightsaber companies that make lightsabers for people, you can order like an Ultra Saber, you can order Saber Forge, you can do whatever. A lot of
Yeah.
those companies were like sending emails going, this is how we're aiding you in the COVID-19 days, and I'm like, no, this just no, don't.
You are correct, Sean. It's a United States flag and a California
And a
flag.
California flag, yeah. And I find that interesting because if you go to California Adventure, definitely California flags. But in Disneyland, I don't think they do that. And I wonder if that's just an easy way to say this is the view you're getting from Disneyland Anaheim.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's nice.
Probably, yeah. It
I
is
just
nice.
thought it was a
So-
nice thing to do. It's something they don't usually do.
Yeah.
Um,
There was something related to that in a sense, and it's not in our document.
Mhm.
I should have brought this up, but only because of Disneyland that this is related. That Switzerland, as a sign of solidarity with us, the U.S. and such, they projected the American flag onto the Matterhorn.
oh,
Oh, that's sweet.
That's
So their
sweet.
Matterhorn.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
the real Matterhorn.
The real Matterhorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a distinctive scale difference between theirs and ours.
Yeah, but I thought, well, there you go. Anyway,
Now, in solidarity, do we now have to send Mickey and Goofy to climb that one? Because that would be
yes,
awesome.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Oh my God! Gosh, that's a lot taller than I thought it was going to be.
So InsideTheMagic.net posted an article that talks about the Instagram, Twitter, and official web page where people can keep up with the, I want to say feral
Feral cats.
cats of
Oh, yeah,
Disneyland.
yeah.
I'm not sure if they're entirely wild, but somewhat wild cats of Disneyland. And they're like partially
years-
wild.
Yeah, years ago, what they I don't know how much of this was where else they were in the park, but before they opened up the actual walkthrough portion or built it actually for the castle,
Uh-huh.
there's an open area in there, and when Walt and them went in there to look at it, there were like a whole lot of cats living in there. So they basically they kept some, I think, and then they adopted out the rest or something.
Yeah.
But then so there's a lot of cats, I think, that are just kind of grandfathered in a sense or whatever.
So they are feral cats, but they've been named. Like a lot of them have names, and they are cared for.
Yeah.
But they do live in the park, and they will stay away from guests because they
Right.
Yeah.
are actually.
But they
wild
hunt
cats.
in the park, and
Yes.
they keep
Yeah, they're-
they keep the rodent population down,
Yeah.
Exactly.
which is pretty cool.
Yep, they have a job.
Yes.
The
Working cats.
entrance to Frontierland is going to get a $200,000 facelift.
Oh boy.
Well,
So-
it's kind of. I have to say, of all of the entries to the areas in
it's kind of
Disneyland,
time, isn't that?
it is the weakest one.
Well, Adventureland isn't that great either.
Yeah, but Adventureland's got character, and and
Yeah.
part of the entrance
already
is
redid
sort
it.
of the tiki room, and
That's
people got
true.
very upset when they just fixed the entrance.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
fixed the sign.
Well,
Or they
what-
made it wider.
There
No, they
used to
made it
be
wider,
there
yeah.
used to be an island where you could walk into Adventureland, but off to the right there was a walkway that was like 3 feet wide, and
Yeah.
there was like a berm, and they got rid of that berm area, put the sign back. For a while, they had put a historical sign up there that was like,
Yeah.
this is an old sign we used to have, and then they put the proper stretched sign across it, and it looks
Yeah.
pretty much the same way it does. It just doesn't have the little gate entry that it used to have.
So they're doing the same thing that they did in Adventureland. It
Yeah,
says
and-
it's a
Yeah.
similar renovation to Adventureland. It's not going to start until the resort is reopened. And they're going to replace the faux wooden gates and the bridge.
Okay,
They're going to widen the existing bridge.
sure.
Of course.
But that's not. I don't really look at Frontierland
expensive wood.
as much of a bottleneck as the other places, because I think very few people go through there.
Well, maybe this will help. Maybe more people will go through.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, I only go through there if I'm trying to get a straight line from like the hub to Haunted Mansion or something. or if I'm gonna take sort of a little bit of a roundabout way
I've
to
been through
Galaxy's
there.
Edge. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that big pin store is right there. So if you're a
Yeah,
pin
right, yeah.
person, that's your entrance.
And when you want to go to the shooting gallery,
Yep.
You have never been to the shooting gallery, have you?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. The
Long
next
time ago.
time the next time we go, Jeff, we're going to the shooting gallery. We're taking Colleen.
Okay.
We're gonna go not hit stuff with the shooting gallery.
Yes. Ping,
And
ping,
ting, ting.
ping.
Right. Now,
Uh,
I used to love it as a kid, but you didn't want to
Now
waste a
there's-
ticket on it
now
because
there's
it took a
lasers.
ticket. It
yeah,
was like
but
an
it
A
was
ticket.
like an A ticket. I mean, it was
And-
between that and the cars on Main Street.
The A tickets that I had left over at the end of the day, if I was desperate, I would go there and I would.
We
hand
always
one in.
still had A tickets left, A and B tickets
Usually,
left over
yeah.
in our coupon books.
Well, you know why?
Yep.
Because most people didn't know that you could combine those tickets to make other tickets.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and so you could take an A and a B and a C and make an E out of it because they all had cash value. It was like,
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25 cents per ticket or, just ballpark, whatever. And so like an e-ticket was 75 cents at one point. And if you could make 75 cents or greater with other tickets, you could hand those over
Yeah.
and do it. And I would forget that. And so I'd end up with a pocket full of tickets. And sometimes it was just cool to have a pocket full of tickets because you go to school the next day and go, oh, we went to Disneyland.
Yeah. Well, no,
got
what
some
those were
tickets
really
left over.
great for is the next time you go to Disneyland, the back had the checklist with all the rides on it.
The ticket book, yeah,
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
checklist, yeah,
Yep.
that was pretty great. But you could use all the tickets and still have that checklist because it was the back page of the
yeah,
ticket
but
book.
then your mom would throw it away.
Not if you hit it.
Oh, well. I mean, these ticket books would go into the junk drawer in the kitchen.
Yes.
And then the next time it was time to go to Disneyland, the night before, you'd dig through the drawer and you'd find the ticket book with like 2 A's and a B in it.
Yeah.
And, stay up all night giggling about what you were going to go on.
I have this 3D printer behind me that works and doesn't. I haven't had some very successful prints out of it, but one of the options it has is a laser etcher,
Lasers.
and I would really kind of like to see if I can get that working. I want to get like a piece of brass, and I want to etch like an e-ticket into it. I used to have one on my keychain. I kind of miss it, and it'd be fun to like take an e-ticket and etch that into a piece of brass, something that wasn't going to destroy. And, like,
Someone just
have an
tagged
e-ticket.
Sean and I in a post for Lego reveals new Star Wars A-Wing building set.
Oh.
Ah.
Oh yeah, is it
Yeah.
is it one of the ultimate construction sets?
Maybe it's in an all-black box.
Oh.
A-Wing Starfighter.
They call them UCS sets.
Yes, Ultimate Collector Series.
Yeah, wow, that's
It is a 1,673 piece model.
oh, that's pretty. And there is in no world in which we will probably want to spend money on it.
Yeah.
But
It's $200.
it's really nice. It's really nice. I love the A-Wing, and my first Star Wars car was modeled after the A-Wing because I really like that ship. And yeah, it's a pretty wicked model. It looks good. The UCS series is amazing, and it's very expensive, but they are like they're bigger than minifigure scale, and the details are so much better, and so it's really kind of aimed at adults. It's like the UCS series gives adults permission to build Legos. Because if you're an adult and you're like, oh, I can't play with that, that's a
Wait,
kid's.
you needed permission?
Some people do. Some people do. And so like let's say you were an executive and you had an office.
Mm-hmm.
These are suitable for displaying in your office.
Much as they are all on display. Well, they're not currently.
Right.
They had to take them home. But when we had a larger office.
Yeah, you guys had the Falcon, the big giant
Yeah,
Falcon.
and the Death Star.
The Death Star, which was cool. You had the Return of the Jedi Death Star, like lots of detail and
Yeah.
stuff on it. And when I say you, I mean your boss.
Was actually his wife.
Yeah, yeah. Well-
She loves building Star Wars Lego models, and so she loves to get them all, and then she's like, "What do I do with this?" So
Right.
he takes them to the
But
office.
she doesn't seem to build the ones that come with minifigures. She builds these,
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
which are like the adult version. And because sometimes you need permission. There are some of us who don't care, and we're like, yay.
Well, these have more pieces and they're more
They have more
complicated.
pieces. They are a little more complicated, but like say a jigsaw puzzle, you have to commit more time to it. It takes a lot longer to build. People do timed builds on YouTube, and they like start the timer. And actually, I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot more stuff to do for like unboxing stuff. Like I've been doing Disney theme park toys for every Sunday at 2:30, and I don't
Yeah.
have many more of those to do. Honestly, I'm thinking of just turning on the camera and building Legos and whatnot. If you want to do that,
Oh boy.
more than welcome. Because I can set
Yeah.
up the camera like we do here, where we've got a 3-camera thing.
We should do that because people. It was funny how many people commented that they really liked seeing both of us in the
Yeah.
Portos unboxing.
Yeah, Colleen did the Portos unboxing, which I wasn't going to get involved in, and
Sean crashed my unboxing.
much like Colleen used to crash this show.
Yes.
And she'd like run in and go, "I have something to say," and we'd have to like shove a mic in her face. I did the same thing where she'd be doing the unboxing, and I'd walk by and go, "Oh, by the way," which was fun. But yeah, we had a good time,
Yeah.
and we could set up a wide-angle camera that showed both of us building, and then we could do a close-up on what we were building and let people see, and then people could build Lego at home, because we have a cupboard with like 8 Lego sets in it that we could easily build.
Well, maybe
boy.
we'll be doing that this Saturday or Sunday.
Sunday is when we usually do the unboxing thing,
We've got a
but
board meeting this Sunday.
we have a board meeting for Costume College
Yeah.
discussion, and so we'll have to see.
Yes.
But hopefully, I think it's going to start at 10. I hope that doesn't go until 2:30.
It's probably going to go that long.
That would be
Yeah.
bad.
Yep. That's why I'm like, ugh.
Well, and what's really interesting about the board of directors meeting is that when we have the meetings, we create action lists for each of us to do, and
Yeah.
all of the stuff on my action list is like undoable because of
Right.
us being at home. And I'm like, I'm supposed to do stuff at the storage unit, and there's like inventory to be done, and there's mannequins to be sold, and like I can do none of that because businesses are closed. And yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But yeah, I hope the meeting does not go for like 4 hours. That would suck.
Yeah, that'd be a drag.
Yes. But this A-Wing Starfighter, this Lego thing, I have always loved these sets. They're always pretty amazing. And I know some people, these are the only ones they build because Lego has sort of like the Technic sets that they used to have, which were like super engineering sets. They were kind of cool for teenagers and adults to build, as opposed to the little happy minifigure things. I have never had a problem with the little happy minifigure sets. I will build those all day long. I think they're super fun.
Yeah, I have a few of those.
So, and I finally Colleen got me the advent calendar this year for Christmas, and so I
Oh, yeah.
finally
Jeez.
got the Cloud Car Pilot minifigure. I'm very excited about that. It's the little things in life,
Trailers. So on April 20th, which is 4 days from now, there is a new channel called Quibi. Quibi. And it has a series.
Kibi, I think is how they
Kibi,
say that. Yeah,
like chibi.
kind of. Yeah.
A series called Dummy,
Yeah.
which I swear I just watched this before the show.
Maybe.
Can't.
Anna
It's Anna Kendrick
Yeah.
and a sex doll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a buddy movie
right.
between Anna Kendrick and a sex doll.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about Kibi, is
So you've heard of it before?
I have, yeah.
Okay, I haven't.
So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Kibi is meant to be watched on your phone,
Oh,
and they are all short attention span episodes of things.
Yeah.
like
So
8 minutes or something.
5, 8, 10 minutes, yeah, something like that. And so like I watched one the other day that is Rachel Brosnahan
Okay.
from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Uh huh.
And it's part of a anthology horror series, and I'm doing air quotes because it's debatable, because it is either intentionally funny or really unintentionally funny. And so the episode that I saw was Rachel Brosnahan. She got a prosthetic gold arm, which she is obsessed with.
Like C-3PO?
Yes. And so she's got like this robotic
Maybe that's why his arm was red.
this robotic arm, and she will not take it off. She's looking at it all the time. She's like focused on it, and she is getting sick. It's like
Taking over her
the
body.
no,
or
the
something.
gold is like leaching into her body, and it's killing her. And she's like laying in bed in the hospital room, and her husband's there, and the doctor comes in and says, "Look, you have got to take off this arm. It is killing you." And she's like, "No, I won't give up the arm." And the husband is there, and she's coughing, and she's got an air tube, and she's obviously dying, and she's like, "Promise me." And he's like, "What?" She's like, "Promise me." Like, "What?" He's, you will bury me with the gold arm." And he's like, "Yes, anything you want." And it's like, she could obviously live if she took the stupid arm off. And it is so weirdly comedic, and you can't tell if it's on purpose or if it's not, because she's like, "Promise me you will bury me with the arm." He's like, "Yes." And she's like, "Say it." He's like, "Yes, I will bury you with the arm." And she's like, "Promise me." "I will promise
And then
I
he
will
takes
bury
off
you with
the
the
arm and he digs a ditch with it.
I don't
and
even
buries her.
know. And it's like, oh my God. And so
Do you know what that reminds me of?
it is not dramatic and scary at all.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Devil hands.
Devil hands.
Is that Judd Nelson
Yeah.
who had devil hands?
I think it was Judd Nelson who had the devil hands.
Yeah.
But not to be confused with Robert Culp and the Demon with the Glass Hand, which was a Harlan Ellison story on Outer Limits,
Wow.
where he was like had a fake hand. Anyway, it's so you can't really tell what they're doing with this, but all of these things are aimed at people who only have a little bit of time to kill. You're waiting for the train
But
in
you
New
don't have
York.
to pay
You're
for
waiting
it.
for the bus. I don't think so. I don't think you have to pay for it. I think it's just a
Because I thought it was yet another streaming, which we have another one on here that is
and
yet another
technically
streaming.
it is another streaming thing. But you talk about that one. I'll look up Kibi to be sure.
So on May 1st, Disney Plus is bringing us a new series called Prop Culture, which means that Sean can't look that up because he has to talk about prop culture, because who amongst us is more qualified
That's true.
to talk?
I thought we talked about this last week.
Oh, did
where yeah, it's a show that's coming out, and I think I mentioned last week that I think I know one of the guys in the main
Oh, but
picture.
the trailer hadn't come out yet.
I thought I saw the trailer.
Oh.
But it's an interesting thing. They've selected, there's like 8 episodes, I think, and they've selected like Pirates of the Caribbean and The Nightmare Before Christmas. They're going deep into the Disney archives, and then they're trying to make it kind of fun. There's a prop collector and fanboy who is the host of this show. And so like the Pirates of the Caribbean thing, they're going to go into the archives, look at a bunch of swords and costumes and things and Jack's compass and whatever. And then they go into the park when the park is closed, and they walk around the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction and goof off with it and things like that. Like I saw a picture of the guy like behind the bars in the jail, that kind of thing. And so they'll examine that as the source material for the film. It looks kind of fun, and it's definitely one of those shows where it's like, if you're a movie hound, you're like, oh, I wish that was me, kind of a deal. I wish I could go into the archives and look at that stuff, or I wish I could go wander around an attraction when it's closed. And so they're doing like, I think they're doing like Mary Poppins, and they've got a whole bunch of shows, and yeah, it should be really fun. It's that May 1st that comes out.
May 1st.
Yeah, so I'm there. I'll watch it. I think it'll be good to see, and I imagine that they're going to do like some of the other shows that they've done. They're going to do like one a week.
Yeah.
And
which we haven't watched. Like, we stopped watching the what's his name show?
Jeff Goldblum.
The Jeff Goldblum
Yeah.
one.
Well, what happened with us is that as much as we like Disney Plus, and I'm not saying I'm not glad we don't have it. We
have it.
We've been watching Rebels, and we've been watching a lot of comfort television.
Yes.
These days. So Colleen has fallen back on Bones, which is a show that we both really like.
If I could find Psych, I would be watching that.
Psych is a USA show, but it might be on Hulu.
No, it's not.
It's
I
not?
looked.
Oh.
Yeah.
It should be somewhere, but gosh, there are so many streaming
Yeah.
services now that you just can't figure it out. I think you do have to pay for Kiwi. It's $5 a month. You get 90 days free, and they have a whole bunch of things like there's a Liam Hemsworth and Christoph Waltz show. Um, there's like
Oh,
a
Psych
whole.
is on Amazon.
Oh, okay. So we can
You
watch
Yeah.
it,
can watch it.
which is a good one. So they're getting big stars to come be in this, and they are specifically shot all of these shows with phones in mind. And so the idea
Interesting.
is whatever you're doing in your life, if you got a little time to kill, you're on your lunch hour and you just want to see something quick, you can watch this 10-minute thing. And if you rotate your screen, you can do like widescreen or you can
Yeah.
do vertical. Either way you want to do it, and the action still fits. They're like really doing all of this stuff to work. And so they've got some reality shows, they've got some comedy shows, but one of them is The Most Dangerous Game, if you remember that story.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I don't see a list. Oh, here's a list of shows. And so they have a couple of action things. There's one called the horror anthology thriller series that I was telling you about. Is called
Ooh.
50 States of Fright.
Disneyland
Okay.
just released another recipe. The corn dog.
Oh, nice.
I bet I have all the ingredients for this.
There's a show here that is a cooking show
Mm.
that looks like it's hosted from what was his name? It wasn't Travis. It was the guy from Kimmy Schmidt, who's the Broadway wannabe Broadway star.
Yeah.
He looks like the
The guy who
host.
has wine.
Yes. He
I can't remember his
is
name.
and
At any rate,
Titus Burgess.
we're gonna move on because
Sure.
the show's almost over here.
Okay.
So I want to try and get the rest of the trailers in.
Yeah.
Hulu has a new animated series called Solar Opposites, starting
Yeah.
May 8th, which is kind of like the Coneheads, except not live action. It's like a cross between the Coneheads and the Simpsons.
It looks very much like Simpsons
more vulgar.
animation. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more vulgar. And you can see that on Hulu. And then there is a movie coming out called Proximity, which is coming out on May 15th. It says that it's coming out to theaters, which I doubt, but it also says that it's coming to direct VOD. So somewhere you're going to be able to stream it, but
Right.
it doesn't say where. And the last one that I really wanted to get in under the wire here is the fact that there is a new Psych movie coming,
Mm-hmm.
and it's called Psych 2 Lassie Come Home. And that is coming July 15th, I believe. I couldn't actually find a release date for the movie, but it's going to be on the new NBC streaming channel called Peacock.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Peacock is premiering on July 15th.
okay. Well, and the cool thing about this, the last Psych movie that they did after the series ended, they did Psych the movie, and Timothy Omenson, who plays Lassiter, who's Lassie of the
Yeah.
title, he didn't have much of a role because he had a stroke
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't come participate. And he has been working so hard to get back in the game. And so this kind of like I think represents a homecoming for him. I think he's doing a lot better.
Yeah.
I followed him on Twitter and I haven't seen him post in a while, but then I haven't been on Twitter in quite a long time.
Uh-huh.
But he used to post his like sort of daily progress and him hanging out with his dogs and things like that. And he was so busy. He did Gallivant. He did a whole bunch of really cool stuff. He was busy, busy, busy. And then he had this stroke and it just sidelined him. And so I'm really excited that they're doing a thing here that is kind of like bringing him back. And it's the conceit is that Lassiter has been attacked and then he's recuperating. And so I don't know, maybe he's just going to be in bed for the whole thing. But
Maybe.
I'm glad that he's there. Although this article is confusing me from Entertainment Weekly because it says the San Francisco-based crime solvers. They
in the TV show, they were in Santa Barbara.
They moved to San
and
Francisco?
then in the movie, they moved to San Francisco.
From Santa Barbara. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So apparently they're going back to Santa Barbara for this one. But
I want to make corn dogs.
we can't. I like corn dogs. We have a couple of hot dogs, but I think we'd have to get more. And don't you need like corn meal or something for corn dogs? Do you have it?
Hello?
Well, we run out of stuff.
No, we have cornmeal.
Okay. We run out of stuff.
We have
Just
all
checking.
of the ingredients on this list, including like
All right.
9
Well, we've
gallons
got
of
like 2
vegetable
or 4
oil.
hot dogs in the fridge.
I mean, this is for 16 hot dogs, but
Well,
can
then
cut
we'll
this
need
down.
more, won't we?
No, you cut it down. You cut it down. You don't add more.
No,
you
no.
cut it down.
We need 16. You want 16 hot dogs.
Ah.
I like corn dogs, and I like
I suppose
hot
you could
dogs.
freeze them.
And nom 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 nom.
And you make them with chopsticks.
Oh, that makes sense. I could see that. The although maybe the disposable ones,
Oh, maybe.
because we have some nice chopsticks. I would hate to sacrifice to. We have like freebie Clone Wars chopsticks from the Clone Wars party that ILM did at SIGGRAPH, and then we've got some that are paper wrapped and laminated that are super nice looking, and I don't want to sacrifice those for a corn dog. I love corn dogs, but I'm pretty sure we can come up with those little disposable Panda Express ones.
I feel like we need to have a Disneyland day, and although it would not be a Heart Smart day, and have like corn dogs and churros, and maybe a mint julep.
Well, I mean, it would certainly be a good morale day.
Don't know if I have the ingredients for a mint julep.
Okay, so if you're going to do that, what do you watch on Disney Plus as the Disney thing? We would have to watch the Behind the Scenes Imagineering series, which would be good. I suppose at this point, even though we can certainly go into overtime, but in terms of our recording.
Wait, we haven't said what we're going to do next week.
Okay, quick, real fast. I'm going to stay home.
I'm going to stay home.
What are you going to do, Jeff?
I'm probably gonna be indoors for a lot of it. So yeah.
You're going to go to work and then stay home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, I'm going to a virtual funeral tomorrow.
Are you? Really?
Yeah, I just got a whole bunch of texts about it.
Okay. Weird. For anyone I know?
That's
My grandmother.
different.
Oh, your grandmother. Okay.
Yes.
Strange.
Yes.
Okay. So thanks for tuning in. This has been Good Morning. This has not been Good Morning Tatooine. This has been
been the
Docu
other one.
BD94. It's the other show. We appreciate you listening to Krypton Radio at kryptonradio.com or being over at twitch.tv/docking_bay_94. And beyond that, be safe and be well and be amazing. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everybody being over on Twitch and chatting, or on facebook.com/DockingBay94 radio show. If you've been over there on Facebook, hit the like button if you're there just for giggles. I never ask people to do that because I always forget. But beyond that, we'll see how it goes, eh? Be well. It's important.
I'm calling Kaylee Crosby.
This is Jeff Soledano.
And I am Sean Crosby. As always, may the force be with you. All right, we're 30 seconds early, but
Sorry.
no, that's okay. I'm just going to let it run, and then the people who get cut off on the replay are going to be like, but wait, they're still talking. What if they talk about something really cool? And we could be here. We could be totally talking about something cool, and you'll never know.
Ice cream
because
is cool.
it's going to end in like 5, 4,
Peanut
3,
butter ice cream.
2, 1.
Now they will never know the other flavors of ice cream I was going to list.
I know. And what'll be even funnier is that if there's like a 30-second buffer on here, they'll still hear us talking about not talking.
Oh.
The thing about Krypton Radio is that our stuff is not entirely accurate, unlike, say, a regular radio station, which runs very much on time code, especially now that they're all automated. we jump in and jump out and do whatever. So we're still broadcasting live on Krypton Radio, even though the recording portion of it will cut at 2 hours. And so when they replay us later on in the week, this part won't be on it. But it is not an exact science, so it'll cut off at like 9:01 or 9 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever the overlap is. And sometimes I take that into account when I do my morning show. Is I just like, oh, this song's gonna end a little late, but that's okay. I know there's overlap, and it'll be okay. So we are not an exact science, but we are human and we are live and we are not robots, and that's pretty cool because, gosh, one of the radio stations just got rid of so many people. Locally, KROQ got rid of their
Yeah.
morning show and replaced them with other people, but there's still humans there. But a lot of stations are just getting rid of all of their local DJs and replacing them with automated music. And we have some of that on the station because we don't have enough people to do this, 24 hours a day. And
Yeah.
the DJs don't get paid.
Yeah.
We don't get money for doing this show. I don't get money for the morning show. We don't get paid to do it. So, if we did, we'd have more people, and we would probably observe tighter tolerances for our shows.
Totally.
Oh my gosh. Do we have anything else on the list that we wanted to keep talking about?
Sorry, I tried to
That's
open
okay.
it back up.
I'm kind of scanning through here. Disney furloughed a bunch of their film employees, and so they're not fired. They're not laid off. They're
It's a
furloughed.
temporary layoff.
Right, which means they're going to come back. So
Yeah.
at least that's good.
The Disney World Dapper Dans.
That was really fun, and I
Yeah.
guess that was in response to the Disneyland Dapper Dans had released a song.
Well, it was as part of National Barbershop Quartet Day.
Oh, neat. They got something like 20 guys together who were all Dapper Dans at Walt Disney World, and they sang "There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow." And I talk about this on the morning show where I play a lot more music. There is a distinct Disney sound that they go for. I can play you any piece of music from the theme park or attraction, and you can identify. If you've never heard it before, you will go, that sounds like a Disney thing. And that continues over to the Dapper Dans too, where you listen to them and they're bright and peppy, and there's a clarity to it that you can listen to like 5 or 6 different a cappella groups and barbershop groups, and you can nail the one that works for Disney because they just sound like
Disney.
that
Yeah.
everything at the theme parks is so idealized, including these guys.
Yeah.
And
it's worth
really
a wash.
good. Yeah.
Not wash. It's worth a watch.
Oh yeah, and honestly,
Don't wash them.
if you just want kind of a little,
Pick me up.
shot of optimism,
Yeah.
it's a good thing to do. And if you're missing Disneyland or Disney World or the Disney theme park of your choice, it's a nice little taste of it.
Yeah, I had found the 1992 Easter Parade in Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom, the other day. I was watching it
Wow,
and bugging the heck out of everyone in the house with it, but
that's really funny.
it was Regis Philbin and such. It was hysterical.
Rage. That's
Yeah.
really funny. Walton Lillian's Palm Springs home is on the market if you want to buy a house that Walt lived in. It's got a nice pool, and it's not like the Holmby
just
Hills
Palm Springs.
estate. It looks like any
Middle
other
class
Palm
house.
Springs thing. It was built in 1962. It
Yeah.
looks like 1962, and it's a single story.
So, I want to talk about this headline.
Okay.
This headline says Bruce wants to be in Doctor Strange 2. And
Yes.
I don't know which Bruce that is. It could be Bruce Springfield.
I think it's
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Campbell.
no,
It could
it's
be-
the chin.
It could be Bruce the Shark. It could be Bruce the Australian Bruce.
Bruce.
That everybody's name is
Bruce.
Bruce.
This right. It could be Bruce, or it could be
Uncle Baldwin
Bruce,
Right.
or it might be Bruce.
Uncle
Right.
Right. Bruce.
I'm sure there are other Bruces that I have left off the list.
Or it could be Bruce the Shark.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. It could be Bruce Lee.
Could be Bruce Lee. Never know.
Well, I know Bruce Lee's not acting a lot these days.
Well,
Yeah.
not so much, but
Yeah.
maybe it's Ghost Bruce, not Gross Bruce.
Yeah.
There it is.
Could be Bruce Willis. Or Bruce Jenner, formerly.
And
known
what's
as-
the movie? The
Doctor Strange.
it's
Doctor
Doctor
Strange
Strange. Wow. I don't know. Bruce Willis would be a weird
Yeah,
choice.
because Sam Raimi is directing it, so that's
So it's got to be Bruce Campbell, right?
He's like, I have to be in this.
He's in every Sam Raimi movie.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
But I'd kind of like to see
I want to see Bruce the Shark.
yippee-ki-yay, Doctor Strange.
Yippee-ki-yay.
The yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Darcy.
That was really funny. I meant to post that somewhere else, and I totally forgot. I should go back and find that.
Oh yeah,
And
if you need me to
post it
send it
online.
to you, I can.
Yes, please.
So a friend of ours was sort of being forced to watch
Oh,
Jane Austen, and he's like, yeah, I'm not really too sure about it, and he wanted like more of an action movie, and so he was like joking around. He's like, "Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Darcy," and so we made a little animated GIF of when Mr. Darcy like dives into the lake, just before the wet shift scene. I don't know what he's
Yeah.
wearing, whatever his shirt
he's
is.
wearing just a shirt.
Right, but it was pretty funny. He's like, "Come out to the coast, we'll have some laughs." I wanted to go back because it took me forever to find it. That Walt Disney home in Palm Springs is going
Yeah.
for $1,095,000.
Oh yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, drop in the bucket.
Well, it's not terrible.
California prices.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not terrible. I mean, obviously they haven't lived there in a long time, but the entire house is filled with Disney art. So
Yeah.
whoever was living there before is a complete Disney fan, and it's called Walt Disney's Technicolor Dreamhouse. So, and it was still in the Disney family, and now the Disney family is selling it.
Oh,
So
okay.
there are a whole bunch of shows doing reunions that are like table read reunions.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Oh, that was the one that was during my show that we couldn't see, which was
Chuck.
Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that tomorrow?
at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And then
Ugh.
that thing you do is doing a cast reunion.
Right. Tom Hanks. His intro to Saturday Night Live. Tom Hanks was host of SNL, where they did the entire show from home.
I meant to watch that.
I
and
haven't
didn't.
watched it yet either, but apparently Tom Hanks was like, now that I'm the official celebrity spokesperson for COVID-19, I'm here to host Saturday Night Live from home, which was funny. And there was apparently in the works a Friends reunion
Oh, really?
that has been
I didn't hear about
shelved, I think, because of COVID.
that. Oh.
Um,
I did.
But I'd like to see a table read from those guys.
I did see two things this week that really just made me smile.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was episode 3 of Some Good News with John
Yeah.
Krasinski.
Oh, man.
And gosh, you know what? Just watch it. It's
Yep.
it's really heartwarming.
Yeah, it's good, and it's because it's John Krasinski, and
Yeah.
by association Emily Blunt,
Yep.
and they have a lot of pull in the community. Like we could very easily do that kind of thing, and it would be nice, and it would be very
Right.
peppy and whatever. We don't have any
But we
kind
don't
of
have any
pull
celebrity pull,
to make
so,
things
yeah.
happen. And
Yeah.
they, on their third episode now, they have the ability to get people to band together in their name and go make things happen. Go watch the third episode, at least, is like amazing.
Oh,
They do
this is
some
great.
really neat stuff.
And if you're a sports fan, definitely watch. If you're a baseball fan,
Yeah. And there's a thing that
even
happens.
if you're not a baseball fan,
Right.
watch.
There's a thing that happens where in times of political contests like now we're coming up on an election, or when things are particularly tough, like we're having right now, where a lot of people get really upset and they're like, why are celebrities doing all this stuff? They should just shut up. We don't care what they think, whatever. And like Gal Gadot tried to do something nice that she thought would be fun, where she got a whole bunch of people who are friends to sing
I wanted to
lines
see that.
of Imagine. I saw it. It was cute.
Yeah.
But there was a huge backlash. People are like,
I saw the backlash. I
why
didn't
is
see the...
why is she doing that? And that's really stupid. And celebrities should just keep their nose out of things and whatever. In this case, though, first off, Krasinski is such a nice guy. If you've ever seen him on a talk show, like he has a running competition, I think, with Jimmy Kimmel, where they prank each other for Christmas.
Oh, I didn't
Which
know
is
that.
really funny. He and Emily Blunt like pranked Jimmy Kimmel and his family, and those things have been really, really good and over the top, and they had to call a truce because they were just getting way out of hand. And so, but you could tell that these are nice people to start, and then doing this news show where it's just good stuff. It's not bad. It's not nasty. It's there's no death toll that's talked about. People aren't being mean to each other. There aren't stupid protests going on in the steps of state capitals. They're not talking about any of that. They're just talking about the things that are nice that
Just
are
the
happening.
positive things,
And I really
But he did go over that. The other people are doing the same thing
yeah
in episode 2.
right. Well, and but I hope that people are not visiting the same kind of backlash on him that celebrities are
No,
getting.
there are people who, he said there are people who were like stealing his idea. He said
Sure.
it kind of jokingly.
Right.
But some of the people were really funny because they're from other countries, and they were reporting with like almost the same name of the show, and they were trying to report on his show, but they couldn't pronounce his name, and they're like, I've never heard of this guy, who is it? And it was
That's so funny.
really funny.
John Karzernkerski.
The guy tried to say it like 3 times.
Oh, that is so funny.
The other one that I wanted to talk about was so there was a dad who his 4-year-old was or it was going to be his kid's 4th birthday, and the thing he had promised his son for his 4th birthday was that they could go to McDonald's. But in the UK where they live, all of the McDonald's are closed for the coronavirus. So as he's driving by the McDonald's when he was out buying the essentials, he got an idea. And so he took a little longer while he was out, and then he came home and he did some stuff. And then he said to his little boy, what was it that you wanted for your birthday? And the little boy was like, I wanted to go to McDonald's. And the mom was like, stop it, stop, don't
torture him.
Don't torture him. She was getting really upset, and she kept arguing, and he's like, no, I got this.
Trust me. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, did he ever have it. He made a video that, so he, on their kitchen floor, he put their big screen TV on the floor of the kitchen against the wall.
Okay.
So it's standing upright.
Right.
And then he taped out a little road in the kitchen because the kid had one of those little Tykes cars.
Yeah.
And then there was a video that showed driving. And then he pulled into the McDonald's.
the drive-thru.
So the kid gets in his little car and pedals up to the window, and the window opens, and it's the dad in a fake McDonald's uniform that he made by taking a polo shirt and putting tape on it.
Oh, great.
And he took the kid's order and said, drive up to the next window. And then it went up to the next window, and then he opens it again and he says, how much it will cost, and drive it. And then he said, oh, it's not quite ready yet, so can you pull up to the parking space and we'll bring it to you. And so the kid pulls up to the little parking space, and the dad pops out of the pantry wearing his little McDonald's uniform. He has handmade, I'm giving away the whole video, I'm so sorry. He has handmade a Happy Meal for the kid.
That's super cool.
And it was clearly, like, when you opened it, it was not like the chicken nuggets were just like thrown into the box.
Sure, yeah.
There was no inner box.
Right.
even though I've spoiled everything for all of you, the look of joy on not only the kid's face but the mom's face. And the dad. The dad was
Yeah.
so delighted with what he had done that you just like wanted to hug the whole family.
That's really
Yeah.
fun. I saw somebody who was like having trouble getting their kid to eat.
There's one more, really.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The dad
Uh-oh.
made the video available. So the part where you
Oh,
just
so
drive
you
up,
can recreate it
you
in
can
your
recreate
house.
it in your
Oh, that's
house,
fun.
and he
Oh,
gives you the
cool.
directions for how to do the whole thing and
Nice.
the video.
That's super
So
cool.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I talked about this last week where there was a kid who like wouldn't eat, and the only thing he would eat was like Taco Bell.
Uh-huh.
And so his mom has been serving him like everything in Taco Bell bags, and, except they didn't go through this kind of effort. And so the kid's like, a banana from Taco Bell. It's like he's happy enough to just have the bag. So this little kid must have been ecstatic.
Oh my
That's-
gosh, the
that's really
kid
great.
was just like, and it's funny because like the parents clearly know what his order's going to be,
Oh,
and he
sure.
orders.
Yeah, yeah.
So he ordered chicken nuggets and fries and a water, and so they had it
water.
all for him. And the little fries were in a little homemade McDonald's
Ah,
bag.
that's the best.
It was so cute. And then the dad, after the kid is sitting down eating, he turns to the mom and he said, "Why don't you place your order too?" So they did it all again for
Oh,
the
nice.
mom. And he had
That's
a whole McDonald's order for the mom too,
That's cool.
including a McFlurry.
Ah, McFlurry. I I've come like so close. Our McDonald's is still open. We could actually go down there and do it. I have come so close to going to Arby's because I missed the Shamrock Shake this year. But I think Arby's usually has like a mint something shake that's really good. It's actually better than the Shamrock Shake. It's just that the Shamrock Shake is cheesy. And I did not get one to freeze this year either, which sucks. Because last year I froze a Shamrock Shake, and then when McRib came around, like 8 months later, I defrosted the shake and had a Shamrock Shake from like April, March, and I had a McRib from like October, and because those are two things you never have together, and it was cool.
So while we're on the subject of fast food,
Mm.
I normally do not like the restaurant Norms.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
did you hear about their care packages?
No, I mean Norm's. If you don't know what Norm's is,
It's like a cheap version of Denny's.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's been around since the 60s, and it still looks like that. It's still got kind of a not quite googie. It's like not quite cool. It's just a coffee shop,
Yeah.
and their food is notoriously not great.
We never close.
But they're, instead of selling meals, you can buy these care packages for them, from them for $35. Here's their breakfast package: 15 eggs, 1 pound of bacon,
Whoa.
1 pound of sausage, 1 pound of sliced ham, 2 pounds of hash browns, 1 3/4 pounds of fresh fruit, 6 rolls, 1/2 gallon of chocolate or regular milk or juice, and 1 roll of toilet paper.
Nice. And I assume that these come raw and you make them
They're all
yourself.
raw, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And they
Nice.
have a bunch of different steak packages. They have a chicken breast package, and they have a salad package.
That's cool.
It's crazy.
A lot of restaurants have gone to that model where they're selling off their component parts
Yeah.
because it keeps them open, and
Yeah.
they have scheduled
Tender
deliveries
Greens
anyway.
is doing that,
Yeah.
and I was really tempted by Tender Greens.
Well, and
if
was
they're still
was
doing it.
Tender Greens the one that had like the baking package,
Yeah.
and the you like chose
Nice.
what you wanted, and so you could get stuff just to bake with. So you get flour and eggs and milk and
Let's
and
see,
things.
Tender Greens groceries and
because Tender Greens is
Goods.
largely just the place you would go to get food, and they're super trendy. They're they're a perfect fit for Los Angeles because they're like uber trendy, and they're not a bad place. They're just not like my kind of place. Colleen loves them.
they're fast casual, and Sean prefers fast food.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
I prefer fast casual, so I love Tender Greens because
They're-
you can actually get food that's healthy there.
yeah, and I don't mind healthy. It's just that they're too trendy for me. It's like all of their stuff is like ugh, and because it's like just too trendy. And it's like, oh yeah, you know you can get this, but it comes with kale, and you can get this, but it comes. I'm like ugh. So
Yeah, but you can actually get healthy food, which you can't at the fast food places.
That's true.
Marina Del Rey.
I'm not a kale person.
You don't have to have
I
kale.
don't like kale. So,
Yeah, so you can get a veggie box, a fruit and veggie box, a pantry box. The only problem is that each one of their boxes is just expensive enough and has just enough of stuff that I don't want that I didn't end up going with it. So, like, their morning box has eggs, milk, flour, white sugar, brown sugar, butter, chocolate chips, baking soda, and coffee. I was like, I don't want coffee.
You could have used it today for Sean.
I know.
We have
Something.
instant coffee in the cupboard.
Do we? Remember I mentioned that there was supposed to be a Friends reunion that has now kind of been backburnered because of the COVID thing. So they have worked so hard to get their schedule together that they're still trying to keep the momentum together to plan it. So they're having frequent Zoom meetings
Okay.
of the entire cast. So all those guys on one Zoom meeting planning what they want to do for a reunion show.
Yeah.
So of all of the Friends, who do you think organized the Zoom meetings?
Monica?
Yeah.
I mean, clearly.
Yeah. And so Courtney Cox is totally behind setting them all up. Jen Aniston is involved as much as she can because she's the busiest of all of them. But apparently they're planning all sorts of really good stuff, and they apparently did a thing where he said it's like the six of them together, and they're just talking about the old days and trying to figure out what's going on. And apparently everybody is on board to do it.
That's awesome.
They were supposed to do it at the end of March. Then it got pushed to May, according to Variety, and now it may be pushed even further
of course. Out. Yeah, it's going to get pushed.
So, but they may have already shot some of it because there's a group shot of all of them from some like restaurant where they're all like hanging out at this restaurant and in their current ages, and Matt LeBlanc says that we got the band back together without the instruments. And so they may have actually like shot a bunch of stuff and be editing more stuff. So,
Sure.
But anyway, people have been wanting this for a really long time, and it'd be kind of fun to do. And then they were supposed to do it on Stage 24, Warner Brothers, where they shot it, and it was going to help kick off HBO Max streaming service when it launches in mid-May, and then HBO is going to have Friends. They're going to have all 236 episodes.
I already have all 236 episodes on DVD.
You had them twice for a while.
I'm good.
Yeah, Colleen's got the 10-volume set from Warner Brothers. We found the legit one because I bought one on eBay. It turned out to be a pirate one. I think Chaz has that one. I think we gave it to Chaz.
Oh, I don't remember.
But it looked really official until you like opened it up and you're like, oh. And it was not the one that they promised in the picture on the eBay thing. And so it was going to be like $100 for this, and like, what a deal. And then we ended up eating the $100, but I found the real one for $100 at Warner Brothers. I was on the lot, and I went to their studio store and bought it there and got the proper one. I think John Paulson helped me out with that, which was great. He got me onto the lot so I could go buy it. But yeah, I'd sit down for that. We could have chicken.
There you go.
I could eat chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken? I could eat chicken.
I could eat chicken.
Yeah. All right. Did everybody just run out of energy, or was that just me?
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, Jeff's got an early day, and we've been going for maybe like a half hour longer than we usually do.
Frank Waller said chocolate corn dogs. Gross.
No,
drive.
not chocolate corn dogs.
Yeah, Jeff still has a long drive to
I
the
know, man.
bedroom from here.
I know, right? Yeah, all like 10 feet to.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, a guy could get used to this.
All right, well, we'll try again for video next week. I don't know why it worked last week and not this week. Although you get in without that, you get to see BB-8 and you get to see Colleen's high-heeled pump tape dispenser and Black Widow and Martha and Doctor Who.
Oh, can you see Martha and Doctor
You
Who?
can see them
Yep.
just barely.
Wait, let me lift
they're from
them
the
up.
they're from like the chest up.
don't-
You cannot see what they are on.
Levitating.
There you go. They're riding a horse. I'm on a horse.
Did it move?
Yeah.
Everything is in delay for me. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, it's there.
It's lifting now.
You have to move it a little to your left.
To my left.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Oh.
That's closer.
Ooh.
Way close. Horse butt. Ah!
Wait, now I'm bringing it over to my
Right. Now
side.
she's just over there.
Oh dear.
But anyway, yeah.
The heck?
Such as it is.
And a rat. I have a rat.
And a rat. That's that was from Minda's daughter's birthday. That was our little rat familiar. Oh,
Gotcha.
you gonna punch Bubbles? Push your head. So Bubbles usually lives on a shelf in here, and periodically she will fall off the shelf. And so at 2 in the morning, you will
That
hear
one.
everybody sleeping at 2 in the morning, and you're like, after a thud, you'll hear this bang. Everybody's sleeping. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I am so surprised that the batteries still work in that thing.
I know,
That
this
thing's
thing's
got to
so
be like
old.
20 years old, and the batteries
Yeah.
still work. Anyway,
Eric says we're getting punchy.
we are punchy. We're playing with toys, so obviously we should go. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Yep.
We appreciate it. Sorry I'm such a slug today, but you know, nothing's the rest that I'm not getting won't fix. We'll try to get Jeff fixed for next week, but at least I got a different thing going on in terms of
So now you have a different problem to fix.
volume. Yeah. So this seemed to work pretty well in terms of getting you into the computer. What I really need to do, I have a sound unit over here that is a USB input, and honestly, I need one with 4 inputs instead of the 2 inputs I have. So maybe that's a Craigslist thing or an eBay thing or a Best Buy thing or something, because that would make life really easy. But it won't fix the video problem, so I'll do what I can about that. Because I was so excited that we got it fixed last week, and I'm like, yes! And then I got the audio fixed, and I'm like, done! And then, you know, it's the domino theory of technology, which we seem to succumb to on a pretty regular basis. But that's okay. Yeah, something to work on. Never a dull moment.
Say goodnight, Sean.
Good night, Sean.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Jeff. All right.
Ladies.
I'm stopping the radio show. Bye, guys, on the radio. Click. And I'm stopping the video. Bye, guys, on the video. If it'll let me get there. Here we go. Stop streaming. Bye.